fans, 2027 season tickets are now on sale. Get a head start on next summer and renew your season tickets early. Head down to the box office before the end of the fourth inning or email us at tickets@corvallisnights.com to lock up your seats for next season. This season, the Knights and Pape Material Handling are teaming up once again to support Community Outreach Inc. For every stolen base at home this season, the Knights and Pape will each donate $25 to COI. And the total is doubled when the Knights win. Teams, don't forget to run the bases after the game and get player autographs, courtesy of Old Spaghetti Factory. Once the game is over, access the field near the TNT Builders Party Deck down the third baseline. Tonight's game is sponsored by R.R. Chandler, a local family-owned custom home builder serving Corvallis and the greater Willamette Valley. R.R. Chandler builds high-quality custom homes and takes on full home remodels, working with homeowners who want something solid, well-designed, and built to last. With over 30 years of experience, they're known for staying hands-on, being easy to work with, and getting the details right from start to finish. They're proud to be part of the Corvallis community and excited to support your Corvallis Knights. Visit them online at rrchandler.com.
Hi again, everybody, from Goss Stadium at Coleman Field on the campus of Oregon State University in Corvallis, along with Everett Bartee, Brian Thomas, and Dale Hummel. This is Mike Parker welcoming you to the final game of the three-game series in the South Division between the Corvallis Knights and the Ridgefield Raptors. It's 80 degrees and beautiful, a low AQI again. We are blessed in that respect with so much of the state. Indeed, burning the air quality in so many parts of our beautiful state outside of the valley, across the mountains in central and eastern Oregon, dealing with a terribly high AQI and smoke. We have 27, a little bit up from yesterday, but still a beautiful evening for baseball, and hope that you're on your way to the ballpark to see the Knights and Ridgefield Raptors settle this three-game series on Go Beavs Night, presented by R.R. Chandler Building and Design. Go Beavs Night, and we're about to see the Beavs get things going with three quarterbacks about to throw out first pitches. Malik Murphy, Braden Atkinson, and Brady Jones will throw ceremonial first pitches, as will Oregon State men's head basketball coach in his first year, Justin Joyner. They will throw out ceremonial first pitches shortly, and Coach Joyner will pop by and join me a little bit later in the broadcast, as will one of the legends in television play-by-play with the New York Mets, the California Angels, the Boston Red Sox, a college football and college basketball play-by-play man for ESPN, a local broadcaster for ABC, a distinguished career, and he kind of laid the microphone down at the age of 50 after 30 years of calling games, a former Houston football player for Bill Yeoman. He is the step-grandfather of the Knights' own Joey Marasco. And Steve Zabriskie, I had the pleasure of visiting with this morning at a local establishment over breakfast and a cup of Jamo. Steve will join us in the middle innings to talk about Joey and his own distinguished career in the business. We're going to take a 2-minute break and come back with Maverick Russell, an outstanding story from Maverick. I think you'll appreciate his spirit, reflecting on his second summer with the Knights and what the community, the organization, the team, his teammates, Coach Knight, and others have meant to him. Back with Maverick after this 2-minute break on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Well done there, Coach. Next, we have new football offensive coordinator, Mitch Dalem, and catching for him is Zach McBride. Quite the arm there. And next, we have our Beaver quarterbacks, Malik Murphy, Braden Atkinson, and Brady Jones. Let's put our hands together, Knights fans. A big cheer for our quarterbacks. for Venti and Brown Orthodontics Junior First Picture, we have Carter. Great job there, Carter.
Back at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, another gorgeous summer evening. It's Oregon State night at the ballpark. It kind of feels like that almost every night with the national championship banner out and left and all of the Beaver fans that are also Knights fans here. But ceremonial first pitches thrown out by three Beaver quarterbacks. The head men's basketball coach, Justin Joyner, and we're getting close to game time here. And I'm happy to be joined by Maverick Russell, who knows a little bit about the Oregon State world back in those good old days when UCLA and Oregon State were all part of the same conference. But Maverick, I don't know what Beaver Night means to you playing in the home of the Beavers here at Goss, but let me just ask you what it's been like these last couple of summers to be part of the Corvallis Knights.
It's been incredible. Just the atmosphere, all the fans and everyone has just made it so very special. And just overall, just the Knights franchise, just being a part of it has been just so amazing and has made me not only a better player but a better person. I think all the coaches that we have here have done nothing but made us all better in just every category in baseball and just better people.
That's a tremendous compliment, Maverick. Thank you for sharing that. What are some of the qualities? Those are all great things you just said. Is there a specific thing or two here and there over the last couple of summers that you've really kind of taken with you and you kind of think will take with you the rest of your baseball life?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Coach Nye, he's a professional when it comes down to just anything. He knows what it's like being a baseball player, and he understands the game in all aspects. He knows what it's like to, be on sky high, and then he also knows how hard it is to fail and how to overcome those. He's one of the best people to talk to about that, and he just knows the game and how it should be played, and he's never afraid to say something that's that's hard to be said. Yeah. And he's been tremendous on just all those aspects, and then always just reaching out and just making sure mentally, like, how are we doing, and physically how we're doing. Because at the end of the day, he wants what's best for all of us. He wants us to all be successful, and yeah, he's just been phenomenal. Same with Coach Bo and Spencer; they've been phenomenal these past couple summers for me.
Great to hear. Maverick Russell joining me. So you joined the Knights last summer, coming out of high school, and then went on to UCLA. But when an opportunity to come back here again occurred, were you like, yeah, let's go, let's run it back?
Yes, absolutely. I had a blast here. Just the city of Corvallis and just the people that are here have make it so extremely special. And the weather here is phenomenal. You can't beat the weather here. And especially with all the guys that we had a good group of guys coming back, and it's always fun. Sometimes it's hard going to a different team. You don't necessarily know a good amount of the guys there. So as soon as I got the opportunity to come back and, try to go chase something that's bigger than ourselves, I immediately wanted to do that for, me and just for all the guys, and just go get that opportunity, because not everyone gets the opportunity to play for such an amazing summer ball team like the Knights and the franchise that they've built around this place.
It's been an eventful summer for you, and I don't know when you got here. I don't know, when you exactly the portal dates and so on, but you get into the portal leaving UCLA, end up in a great program coached by a former Beaver. Andrew Checketts, the head coach, was a tremendous pitcher here for Pat Casey in the late 90s. But Tell me a little bit about how the summer, the injury occurred, but a lot of things have happened for you, haven't they, over this summer?
Yes, absolutely. Was having a little bit of knee problems. The patellar tendon in my knee, just struggling with it. It's kind of been on and off all year, but strengthened it. Did a lot of physical therapy, and then coming here, the unexpected thing kind of just happened, and unfortunately, had to take a few weeks off. But I got that time back, and Coach Knight, I remember him asking me, if I wanted to go home, and I gave him probably the answer that he wanted to hear, and that was I wanted to go chase something, and I want to go win a WCL championship and bring back that championship to where it belongs in West Coast League.
So, Maverick, when then, as you hung out, rehab, did everything you could here to get back, now you're back, you're in the lineup again tonight playing first base, but when did the UCSB opportunity come about? How did that all come together?
Yeah, so that night that I decided to go into the portal, I had a good talk with my high school coach. I had a good Jimmy Zern at La Mirada. I had a good talk with him. I called Knight and let him know kind of everything that was going on. And that night I decided with my family that it would be best for me to hit the portal and go try to get an opportunity somewhere else. And yeah, that next morning, I got a call from Fontino from UCSB, and it went as good as I could imagined. Offered me, had me on campus, got to go around. They made it incredible, extremely special. And after I looked around and I just knew as soon as that's where I wanted to be at.
Coming out of La Mirada High, you ended up staying pretty close to home and going to UCLA. Did you have other options then? Did you consider, somebody else, maybe even UCSB or other schools that might have been recruiting you out of high school?
I was pretty set growing up. I did make my decision pretty early, right after my freshman year of high school. I did really. I grew up a UCLA fan, and so my family, they were all really big football fans. Half of my family was UCLA football fans. My other half was USC football fans, and there was a couple other teams that were on the table, but I did decide to commit earlier than the typical high schooler would have, before all the rules came out where you couldn't talk to anybody until your junior year. So I didn't really get to really expand. I kind of just, as soon as I got the offer, I just wanted to go be a Bruin.
Yeah. And, it's hard to look back at it, but was the experience, even if you move on now to something really new and a great opportunity at UCSB, are you glad you were able to be in the program down at UCLA for a while?
Oh, absolutely. I'm super happy. It didn't go exactly, what was for me. Just some things just didn't end up working out. And I was extremely happy. I learned so much baseball just from all the players and just being around that group of one of the best, and if not the best, UCLA team to ever come out of that.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm happy I went there. It's not a lot of people can say that they were on the #1 team in the nation. For me, I'm extremely grateful for that.
And yet, baseball is what it is. Number one seed, all of that. It guarantees nothing, though, does it?
No, absolutely not. That's the beautiful thing about baseball. It can be, season can go one way until playoffs come, and then it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah. Last thing, and that is your own name. I may have asked you this last year when we did this, but I'm still curious. How did you end up with a name? Very unique name, and the spelling's a little different too. Maverick, Maverek. How did that come about?
All my friends and family joke with me all the time. Everyone jokes with me thinking, like my parents wanted me to be special, and but honestly,
you are. But
yeah.
Okay.
I think my family was pretty. They did like the movie Top Gun. I'm not exactly sure if that's where it came from, but
could be.
Yeah, it could have been. But yeah, my. Only my parents wanted to name me Maverick, and the rest of my family were kind of iffy about it and didn't want it. And then my grandmother a couple years ago told me that name fit me more than they could have ever imagined, and they didn't even agree with it at first.
Well, if Grandma gives her blessing, then that's the right thing.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Maverick, it's been a pleasure to have you here these last 2 summers, and looking forward to seeing you finish strong with your teammates down the stretch and bring a championship back home to Corvallis. Thanks for the time again. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Thank you.
With our guest, Maverick Russell, they start the game 2 minutes early, so we're underway with Knights left-hander Colin Novacek going to work on Zach Wattis. The first pitch to Zach in there for a strike. The 0-1 pitch missing a bit high and away. We're underway. 79 degrees, beautiful, clear evening in the Mid-Valley. Novacek's 1-1 fastball is in there for strike 2. 1-2 to Zach Wattis, leading things off in this rubber match. The Corvallis Knights and Ridgefield Raptors. The Knights a game and a half back of Walla Walla in the second half standing starting the night. The pitch to Wattis fouled away to the left and out of play. 1-2 to Zach with Hunter Comine on deck, the center fielder. Wattis, the leadoff hitter at first base. Josh Proctor batting third in left field. Braden Watson, the cleanup hitter and catching. And Jack Connolly was out here, and there's a newcomer on the roster, and I've got to try to find out if it's a Losta or a Lasta. The pitch to Wattis lifted to left, fighting the wind a little bit, and the sun backpedaling on to just shy of the warning track is Kellen Siegel, the Knights left fielder, to put it away. That's an instructive fly ball to open the game. It kept carrying and carrying in the wind. Kellen up to the task of hauling it in. One away, Hunter Comine, the batter. Boy, that was a question. Jack Connolly and I visiting, the really talented, gracious young man. I had enjoyed a conversation with him before the game, and I had a note. Ask him if it is a Losta or a Losta. Yeah, I apologize. I'll try to find out here shortly. The pitch to Hunter Comine, a fly ball to shallow right field. Zane Garvey moving in and under to make the catch, and 2 down here in the top of the first. Josh Proctor will be the hitter. Proctor in left, batting third. Braden Watson, the cleanup hitter and catching. JP, a player to be named exactly later, batting fifth at shortstop. Alasta I'm going to go with for now. Braden Orem hitting sixth at third base. Reagan McCluskey batting seventh at DH. Reed Farrell in right field batting eighth. Jordan Marion batting ninth at second. And Tyler Walton on the mound for Ridgefield. 6'4", 180-pound right-hander out of Mission Hills in the Southland. For the Knights defensively, a battery of Colin Novacek and Xavier Rios. The first pitch to Josh Proctor, high. The southpaw Novacek back to the right-hand hitting Proctor, who backs away and takes inside, ball 2. Around the infield, our pregame show guest. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. First baseman Maverick Russell. Diego Cruz at second, Joey Morosco at short, Ryan Severns at third, Kellen Siegel in left, Max Medina in center, Zane Garvey in right. The pitch to Josh Proctor, swung on and hit foul into the rooftop area of the alley entrance to the Dixon Recreation Center. 2 balls and a strike to Josh Proctor. A late start to his summer, but swinging it extremely well, starting the night at 4:09. He takes the 2-1 pitch for a strike and the count 2-2. In his 11 games with the Raptors, Josh, at 4:09, with 4 homers and 16 runs batted in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs to Josh Proctor. Braden Watson on deck. Novacek comes to the plate, the 2-2 fastball, hit foul. Pretty good life on the fast one from Colin. That means the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bryce Reeves, the home plate arbiter this evening. Taylor Schneider, the base umpire. Chris Cota coaching at third base, the head coach, 7th-year head coach, the entire existence of the Raptors franchise. And the head coach at College of the Canyons for over a quarter of a century. And his right-hand man there, Russ Hoagland, coaching at first. The pitch to Proctor, fouled at the plate. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh with 2 outs, nobody on. 330 down both lines, 365 to the power alleys, 400 feet to straightaway center. The 2-2 pitch to Proctor is high. Good at bat here for Josh in the works. The count goes full to 3-2. Another red-hot hitter, Braden Watson, on deck. Kellen Siegel dealing with the tough Sunfield, one of the toughest in the league. In deep left for the powerful hitting Proctor. The 3-2 changeup is pulled down the left field line into the corner. Kellen Siegel plays a high hop and from just under the foul pole fires the ball back in. Josh Proctor, smoking hot. A 2-out double down the left field line. Proctor is now 19 for 45 since beginning his season just a couple of weeks back with Ridgefield. Braden Watson, the batter. Watson is playing in his 18th game. He's hitting .438, 6 homers, 32 runs batted in 17 games. He has a chance to pick up another one right here with the 2-out double for Josh Proctor. Braden Watson, the cleanup hitter, takes the first pitch from Colin Novacek, a fastball for a strike. 0-1 the count. Novacek in this key game, a rubber match, making his 8th appearance and 6th start of the summer. 2-2, an ERA of 4.37, 22 2/3, 22 hits. The left-hander glances back at Proctor. 15 walks, 26 strikeouts over the summer for Colin. Comes to the plate to Watson and misses down and in. Ball 1, 1-1. J.P. Alasta on deck. I will call Jack Connolly. Hope that he picks up between innings to try to get verification on JP's last name. The pitch to Watson is pulled down the left field line and another run batted in. Just an incredible run. A base hit in front of Kellen Siegel. Josh Proctor in to score. The 33rd run batted in just 17 games plus this summer for Braden Watson. I'm not sure I've seen a guy in that kind of streak for that long. I mean, that's a pretty good run. 17 games and nearly 2 RBIs per. 1-0 Ridgefield. J.P. Alasta, the batter. Novacek to the plate. First pitch, fastball, strike. 0-1 the count. The Ridgefield Raptors, who've already clinched a playoff berth by virtue of going 20-7 in the first half, will have home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Not really in the race in the second half, but they have a good club. Ridgefield at 8-12 with 7 games remaining for Ridgefield in the second half. The Knights beginning at 12-8. The pitch missing high to Alasta. The throw down to first, not in time for Watson. Novacek back to the plate. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball down and in. Ball 2, 2-1. So JP is not on any of the roster materials that I've received, and I'm hoping to learn a little bit more about him as we go. But he gets the start in his Raptors debut. He takes the 2-1 pitch, low and in, ball 3, 3-1. A lot of fluidity in these West Coast League rosters, more and more so as the seasons go by. The 3-1 pitch to JP is outside for ball 4. 2 quick outs recorded by Colin Novacek, but then he had to deal with a couple of red-hot hitters. Josh Proctor, a 2-out double, scores on an RBI single from Braden Watson. And now a walk to Alasta. Braden Orem, the batter. 1-0 Ridgefield, top of the first inning. Coach Justin Joyner will pop by and join me at some point along the way tonight. Most of his coaches and families have made the trip to the ballpark tonight, too. I got to watch the team practice yesterday and was thoroughly impressed by the talent level, the skill set, the attention to detail by the coaches. And the pitch on the way, swung on and fouled back. Now, this could be J.P. Acosta, but it looked like an L in the scoring column on the lineup that I saw. And I've got a lot of work to do here. The pitch is a wild one, down and in, because I put in J.P. Alasta because that's what it looked like. If that's an L, somebody's got a writing problem. If that's a C, I mean. A wild pitch sending Braden Watson to third and Acosta to second. I know. I knew I had to ask Jack Conley. The 1-1 pitch swung on and rolled foul up along first. So I'm making the change now to Acosta because J.P. Acosta explains decision to transfer home and play baseball at Fresno State. It's got to be the guy out of Clovis. So good for him. And we'll be seeing more of him and will not make the mistake again. The pitch to J.P. Acosta hit foul off first, racing over Xavier Rios. The ball lands just beyond the Ridgefield dugout on the first base side. Buchanan High School graduate, Grant Gambrell country from that standpoint. So good for J.P. Acosta. Coming out of the portal from Cal State Fullerton. The pitch just missing. In fact, I'm not sure that it did miss. Xavier Rios held the baseball up, framing it for Bryce Reeves, who still spat at it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 outs, a run in, 1-0 Ridgefield, top of the first inning. Novacek out of the stretch, delivers a ground ball to short. Joey Morosco gets a nice hop, fields cleanly and throws to first to get Braden Oram, and the inning is over. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, 2 left in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Ridgefield 1, the Knights coming up back in 90. In fact, let's make it 2 to get caught up. We got a little behind with the lengthy interview with Maverick. So back in 2 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
That was 2 minutes. Bottom of the first inning, 1-0. Right-hander Tyler Walton staked to the 1-0 lead, goes to work on Oregon State on this Go Beavs night at the ballpark, and a newcomer to the Corvallis Knights takes the first pitch fastball from Tyler Walton for ball 1. Walton back to the plate. The 1-0 pitch is high. Diego Cruz leading off at second base for the Knights. Max Medina on deck, the center fielder. Maverick Russell hitting third at first base. The cleanup hitter Dakota Chun, the DH. The 2-0 pitch to Diego, high for ball 3. I met another future Beaver named Diego earlier today while visiting with Steve Zabriskie. Diego Vasquez transferring in from Fullerton College. The 3-0 pitch to Diego Cruz down the middle for a strike. The count 3-1. Diego coming into the establishment downtown as I visited with Steve Zabriskie. in the company of Paul Vasquez, no relation, but it was a pleasure to meet Diego. Now Diego Cruz at the plate, takes a strike again. Walton trying to come all the way back. Quick working right-hander's 3-2 pitch, and he's going to get an out after falling behind 3-0. 3-2 pitch popped up. Second baseman Jordan Marion backs up a step or two. Good work by Tyler Walton. Nothing to it. And pitching very quickly. Fell behind 3-0 and just came right back through a couple of strikes and induced the little pop-up from Diego Cruz. Now Max Medina, the hitter. Tyler Walton in this rubber game, getting the start, his 9th appearance and 2nd start this summer. A record of 1-0. He's worked 16 1/3. He has a save. Control has been a bit of an issue. 18 walks and 14 strikeouts. Medina takes high. Now the 1-0 pitch, a ground ball to the shortstop, Acosta. JP up with it and throws to first for out number 2. A couple of things I learned between innings from Jack Connolly. He said, yeah, other people were asking. He can see why we thought it was an L. It looks like an L, and the official lineup turned in. But it is Acosta, JP Acosta. He began his career at Fresno City College, transferred to Western Kentucky, and now comes back home out of Western Kentucky to Fresno State. And his first day today with the Raptors, his first ball game. Maverick Russell, the hitter, takes high and away, ball 1. 2 outs, nobody on, 1-0 Ridgefield. The 1-0 slider just inside. Ball 2, 2-0 to Maverick Russell. It was one of the more enjoyable pregame conversations of the summer with Maverick, just in terms of his sense of appreciation for where he is, what he's learned with the Knights the past couple of summers, his appreciation for Brooke Knight and Bo Kearns and Spencer Scott, his teammates, the community, just a really well-spoken and appreciative young man. The 2-1 fastball, Maverick takes a strike, and the count 2-2. And harbors no ill will or regrets at all about going to the great program at UCLA, but moving on to perhaps a better opportunity in terms of playing time and all of that at UCSB. The 2-2 pitch hits Maverick in the lower back, and he trots down to first, bringing Dakota Chun to the plate. Maverick at 255. And represents the tying run at first. He's 3 for 3 in stolen base ventures, held on by Zach Wattis. Out of the stretch works Tyler Walton. Fastball up and away to Dakota. Ball 1, 1-0. Dakota Chun, the DH. Ryan Severns batting 5th at third base. Zane Garvey hitting 6th and right. Joey Morosco batting 7th at shortstop. Xavier Rios hitting 8th and catching. Kellen Siegel batting 9th and left. The 1-0 pitch to Dakota misses high and away, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Defensively for Ridgefield, Tyler Walton and Braden Watson, the battery. Zach Wattis at first, Jordan Marion at second, JP Acosta at short, Braden Orm at third. Chun, a drive to left center field. Hunter Comina going back. The ball carries over his head and all the way to the warning track off the fence in left center field. Maverick Russell cruises home, a 2-out RBI double for Dakota Chun, and the Knights pull even at 1. Well, both teams getting things done after 2 outs and nobody on. For Ridgefield, it was a Josh Proctor double, followed by a base hit from the RBI king, Braden Watson. The Knights get a 2-out hit batsman, Maverick Russell, hit by a pitch, and then scores on Dakota Chun's high drive to left center field, carrying well over Hunter Comine to the warning track. A 1-1 tie. And bounced off the track and short hopped the fence in the alley in left center field. Ryan Severns takes high and away, ball 1. Dakota Chun continues his hot hitting. He's now 14 for 37 since embarking on his season within the last 2 weeks. The pitch to Severns, high and inside. Ryan's had an outstanding summer, hitting .316, a homer, 14 runs batted in. 2-0 the count to Ryan, a 1-1 tie, the go-ahead run represented by Dakota Chun at second. Walton to the plate, fastball for a strike. the count 2-1. The Knights and Ridgefield will play each other next week to wrap up the regular season. The pitch on the way to Severns, pulled foul past head coach Brooke Knight. Marcus Matias in his post at third. Tyler Walton hitting his future teammate at UCSB. Tyler redshirted with the Gauchos this past spring. He's out of Crespi High School and from Mission Hills. The right-hander with a 2-ball, 2-strike count to Ryan Severns in this 1-1 tie. Tyler delivers. Severns a bouncer back of third, fielded by Braden Orem. His throw across. Oh, and safe is called. Unbelievable. The base umpire, Taylor Schneider, is saying that the first baseman, Zach Wattis, brought his foot off the bag in foul territory. And I say unbelievable because the inning should be over. That's an out. The throw pulled Wattis into foul territory where you had to go up and get the baseball in foul grounds. But even though the throw was a little bit off from Orem, Wattis appeared to have made the play in time and kept his foot on the bag. So the Knights are either catching a tremendous break or the error will be overturned with what I think should be an out called on this play. At the moment, it's a 1-1 tie, and they stay with the call. Safe. That's a huge break for the Knights from what I can gather. Ryan Severns aboard on the throwing error on third baseman Braden Orem. Wattis came across the bag and I thought had secured the possession of the throw and maintained contact with the bag as he stepped into foul territory. But the angle that Taylor Schneider had was clearly not a good one and apparently not better for Bryce Reeves, so the call stands. Zane Garvey, the batter. Zane takes a fastball for a strike and the count 0-1. A 1-1 tie, bottom of the first inning. The Knights trying to take advantage of what appeared to be a bit of a gift in the form of that call by Taylor Schneider, the base umpire. Garvey takes strike 2 on the breaking ball. And Tyler Walton just trying to shrug it off and go get the next man. Dakota Chun at third, Ryan Severns at first, 2 down. A 1-1 tie. Zane Garvey with a count of no balls and 2 strikes. Swings and lifts one to shallow right center field. Comine and Reed Farrell. It's Farrell, the right fielder, stepping in front of Comine to make the catch. And that ends the first. But both teams rise up for a run after 2 were out. For the Knights, a run on 1 base hit, 1 error, and 2 left. And our score at the end of 1, Ridgefield 1, the Knights 1, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Poop's got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
We go to the second inning at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, a 1-1 tie on Go Beavs night here at the beautiful ballpark, home of the Beavers, home of the Knights, presented by R.R. Chandler Building and Design. That theme continues tomorrow night with Adley Rutschman Bobblehead Night. Be sure to get here early, the first 250 fans to receive bobbleheads of a former Corvallis Knight and 1-1 pick, All-Star Adley Rutschman of the Baltimore Orioles. A 1-1 tie to the second. Reagan McCluskey taking the first pitch from Colin Novacek low. Colin back to the plate, the 1-0 pitch, a high pop-up on the right side. Diego Cruz with the wind pushing the ball a little bit, backs up, stays with it, and all is well because he made the catch, and that's all that matters. A bit more of an adventure than we expected, but he puts it away. One away, Reed Farrell, the batter. And on this Go Beavs night, appropriately, we got off to a great start with the ceremonial first pitches. We saw 3 Oregon State quarterbacks who are remaining here to watch some of the ball game. Malik Murphy, Braden Atkinson, Brady Jones. They're all competing for the job, and they all threw pitches, and none of them separated themselves tonight with the ceremonial first pitches. They were all good. Reed Farrell swings and hits one foul off to the right and out of play. Offensive coordinator Mitch Dolan also threw out one of the ceremonial first pitches. 1 out, nobody on in the second. Back to the plate comes Novacek, and the 0-1 pitch hit foul into Urchin Alley in front of Dixon Rec, the count 0-2. And another well-delivered ceremonial first pitch by the gentleman kind enough to take a little time and join us here in the Knights live stream broadcast and 1240 Joe Radio. First-year head men's basketball coach Justin Joyner. The strike 2 change, swung on and missed. Strike 3, 2 down. Coach Joyner, it looked like it came out of your hands solidly. Were you pleased with the first pitch effort?
First of all, it's an honor to be here in this community and be a part of this broadcast and be a part of Beaver Nation. Very happy with the first pitch.
Yeah.
I thought my first pitch a few months ago was a little better, but we're settling for straight, so I like it that it was straight.
Yeah, it was straight and cool, and you talk about the community and just so many things. Time failed. We'll have plenty of time in the days ahead. I look forward to getting to know you, your family, your staff, your coaches. The first pitch to Jordan Marion missing high, ball 1. 2 outs, nobody on, and this 1-1 tie in the top of the second. Novacek back to the plate, swung on and fouled back. It looks like almost your whole staff is here. That's great, Coach.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think just they're finally kind of settled in and have their families here, and we have a couple of our student athletes here as well. And so it's just great for them to be immersed in this community and feel a part of it. 1
ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Colin Novacek looking for a 1-2-3 inning. The lefty to the plate, off-speed tap foul at the plate. The count 1-2. I mentioned on the air a while ago, Coach, that I had the pleasure of being able to watch your practice yesterday for the first time, really getting a look at this really dynamic, exciting roster. I just was so impressed by so many things. But you did something at the end, a fastball swung on and missed, strike 3, that I want to talk about when we come back after this half inning, because it showed, I thought, just when you invited me down and I got to shake hands with each one of your players, that was special for me. I've been here 28 years, and that's never really happened quite like that. So I appreciated that, but I was impressed with your guys, and I want to talk about that when we come back. We have a break to take as Novacek retires the side in order. At the end of 1.5, Ridgefield won, the Knights won, back in 90 seconds on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest-earning checking, high-yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Pups got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
Psychiatry, we empower change within for your best life. Leading off the second inning for the Knights from George Fox University, the shortstop, number 7, Joey Morosco.
Bottom of the second inning, a 1-1 tie. Joey Morosco, a high chopper in the sun, fielded by the third baseman, Braden Orm, did a nice job to handle that Baltimore chopper in the sun. One pitch, one away with Joey Morosco bouncing out. Joey's grandmother, Linda, a few seats down underneath the McGrath family press box with his step-grandfather, Steve Zabriskie, longtime Major League announcer with the New York Mets and Boston Red Sox. I had the pleasure of visiting with Steve Zabriskie earlier today. He'll join me later on this broadcast. But Joey Morosco having an outstanding summer here with the Corvallis Knights. Grounds out, a 1-1 tie. Bottom of the second, Xavier Rios, the batter. Xavier takes ball 1, 1-0. Tyler Walton back to the plate. A 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. 1-1 the count. Oregon State men's head basketball coach Justin Joyner joining me up here. I appreciated you, and I got to meet all of your guys. Coach, it looks like a really good group. Tell me about your thoughts about the guys you're getting to work with here in these early days at Oregon State.
Yeah, first and foremost, what I would say about them is we recruited really good quality human beings, citizens that want to be a part of this community. There's two must-haves for us. It's A, you must love basketball and love the process of getting better. And then B, you got to want to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I think every one of our guys feels that way, and it's really exciting to see. We're about 3 weeks into our summer workouts, and you know, a lot of guys have stepped up in certain days. I think we have a team that is really deep in the backcourt, and I think we have some really fun, exciting, above the rim type bigs that can also connect offensively and do some things defensively. So overall, I think the roster's filled out really nicely. It's all about guys making the jump and accepting their roles and flourishing in their roles.
2-2 pitch is swung on and missed by Xavier Rios for strike 3. 2 down, nobody on. Kellen Siegel, the batter. Kellen takes the first pitch inside from right-hander Tyler Walton. A 1-1 tie, bottom of the second. The 1-0 pitch, Kellen chops it foul in the count, 1-1. And seeing your whole staff essentially together here tonight with their families, that was another thing that jumped out at me, Coach. It looks like, I mean, you're the head coach, there's no doubt about that, but you've got a great staff that it looks like you lean on, and they all have a tremendous presence and voice in your practices and after the practice. Tell me how important that is to you.
I think it's everything. You know, I think for me, I've been on great staffs, and I realize, like, when you have a great staff, generally your guys' hearts and minds are in the right place, right? And we want our student athletes to have a ton of confidence and a ton of humility and really lean into who they are as people. And I think you can't get that without a quality staff. And every one of these guys I've had either really close relationships with or just a ton of respect and knowing they've done a great job at their previous stops. So I think our staff is strong. I'd put our staff up against anybody, and we're really excited for all of them.
Kellen Siegel, a ground ball to second. Coach, if you can hang on and give me we'll talk a little bit more about a couple of other things after this next break. We are through 2. It remains Ridgefield 1 and the Knights 1. Back with a little more with Coach Justin Joyner on Go Beavs Night at the ballpark after this 90-second break on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest-earning checking, high-yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
Head down to their table and you can enter a raffle to win 4 tickets to a game of your choice and a replica of the field. The drawing will be at the end of next week, and if you are the winner, you will be contacted. Also, don't forget to visit the concession stand. Leading off, first baseman number 23, Zach Wattis.
Top of the third inning, a 1-1 tie. Good ball game on a beautiful evening here in the Mid-Valley. Zach Wattis takes Colin Novacek's first pitch inside, ball 1. Wattis, the leadoff hitter for Ridgefield, followed by Hunter Comine and then Josh Proctor. The 1-0 pitch from Novacek just outside, ball 2. Coach Joyner's whole staff, his Beaver family, extended Beaver family, all here. A couple of his players here as well, so I'm going to turn him loose here shortly. Really appreciate him throwing out the first pitch tonight and spending a little time here on the broadcast. The 2-0 pitch, fouled at the plate, and the count 2-1. The emphasis, Coach, on defense, which was it's been such a big part, it sounds like, of your life as a coach and your approach, and winning a national championship as part of Coach May's staff at Michigan. Unbelievable accomplishment. A bunt out in front of the mound, barehanded by Novacek, fires to first. Good play in time for the out. One away. Wattis trying to lay one down, but a nice job by Novacek. Good defense there, and defense, you can only get good at defense by working on it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's been a huge part of my career, certainly at Michigan and previously at St. Mary's, and I think it really has if you can defend and rebound at a high level, it really raises your floor, and it really helps you win. Obviously, taking care of the ball, and now you have a formula for success, and we want to make sure we're doing those things at a really high level.
Hunter Comine takes a strike, the count 0-1. Something I noticed, too, and you giving a voice to your coaches after the practice, each one of them spoke. Can't remember which one it was it said, but there was a concept you were kind of introducing yesterday about how to defend. I think the word shed or shed low or shed. It was something, a term I hadn't really heard before, but you were getting your guys engaged in that. How did that go? How did you feel about that?
You know what? What's been really cool about our 3 weeks together, it's as we've gotten better offensively, we've put our defense in compromising positions, so it's informed us how to work, what the things we need to work on for defense, and then in turn, as we get better defensively, our offense gets better, and so on and so forth. So it's been a really fun chess match to play through, and our offense is causing problems for our defense, and our defense is causing problems for our offense. So we just got to continue to get better. The shed low concept is specific to switching off the ball, and there's certain times where you got to shed that screen low and get to the low side.
Hunter Comine swings and misses, strike 3, 2 down. Josh Proctor, Oregon State Beaver, doubled, now playing for Ridgefield in his home ballpark here at Goss, but he doubled and scored the Raptors' run in the first inning. Comes to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on here in the third, and a 1-1 tie. Colin Novacek to the plate, and the first pitch to Josh misses outside. I asked you this once before, and you said, well, you began to focus on defense pretty early when you maybe kind of thought that was your way to get on the court. The 1-0 pitch, Proctor swings and hits one foul down the right field line. But tell us again, if you don't mind, Coach Joyner, a little bit about how you have come to the place where defense has been so important to you.
I would say the first piece is I wasn't that good of a player in college, so I had to find a way to get on the floor. So defensively was my way to do things. And then just being at St. Mary's for 7 years under Randy Bennett, and for our last 3 or 4 years, we were top 15 defense in the country. And with that, we started winning the league consistently and playing in March Madness consistently in the protected seed. So that's really informed my philosophy at being really good defensively, being really good at the boards. And then offensively, we want to be fun. We want to play fast. We want to play conceptual. And we're working towards that, and that is very much informed by probably my time at Michigan with Dusty, as well as the way we're guarding defensively. So I've taken a lot from the men I've worked for, and 2 of them are both 2 of the best in the sport.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we're really excited to see how that all is going to look in this new era of men's hoops at Oregon State. Josh Proctor takes low, ball 2, 2-2. 2 outs, nobody on, a 1-1 tie in the third. Colin Novacek's 2-2 pitch, chop foul outside of third. People I hear give lip service to, we want to run, we want to push the ball. But there's a lot of things you got to do first kind of to get to that, right? I mean, you can't just say we're going to run, and whatever does that mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing you got to do when you want to run is you got to allow it to be a little bit messy at times in the summer. And quite frankly, like at Michigan, it was messy early in the year for us, and we turned the ball over way more than we should. And we're hoping to not be there when the season starts, but we do allow it to be a little bit messy. We want guys to fail forward. So ultimately, as they fail, as they turn the ball over, as they fail, like you start to fail forward. You start to learn self-awareness and the things you need to stay away from.
We're visiting with Oregon State men's basketball coach Justin Joyner. Last thing, Coach, you're bringing, having been with these great coaches and programs you're talking about, that kind of culture, what big-time winning looks like, including a national championship. What was that whole experience like to be part of that this past year?
It was unbelievable. Just so proud of everybody involved in that organization, from players to staff to support staff to doctors. It just took such a village to find that level of success, and so much unselfishness. And just really proud of the journey we went on together, and it's really proud of obviously the result, but more importantly, the process. It was a tough process, but it was a beautiful one.
Well, it was fun to watch from out here. We became huge Wolverines fans down the stretch in the tournament, knowing you were coming to represent not only everything you've learned in your great days as a college player and an outstanding program for a wonderful coach in Bob Williams, and then the opportunity to work for Randy, one of the best coaches we've seen in the modern era in college hoops, and a national title at Michigan. So we're really excited, Coach, and looking forward to getting to get to know you and your players even more. Proctor, a fly ball to right. Zane Garvey is there to make the catch. The inning is over. 1-2-3 for Colin Novacek. Coach Joyner, thanks for the time, and appreciate you coming up and joining us here on the live stream, and welcome to Corvallis and Oregon State. Thanks, Coach.
Tom. I appreciate you, and I appreciate Beaver Nation.
Thanks, Justin. That's head coach Justin Joyner. We go to the bottom of the third inning. It remains Ridgefield 1, the Knights 1, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. The top of the order coming up for the Corvallis Knights in the bottom of the third inning. A 1-1 tie. Diego Cruz, Max Medina, and Maverick Russell. Diego bunts, foul. 0-1 the count. Diego opened the Knights' effort in the bottom of the first, drawing a count of 3-0. And then Tyler Walton came back on a 3-2 pitch to induce Diego to pop out. The strike one pitch, a ground ball by the diving attempt of second baseman Jordan Marion into right field, base hit. A leadoff single for Diego Cruz, and that'll bring Max Medina to the plate. Diego starting the night, and this is 16th game with the Knights at .283. And Diego, in his 15 games, has stolen 9, has been caught 3 times. We'll see how Brook Knight wants to play it here with the right-hander Tyler Walton coming set. There goes Cruz. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second, not in time. Diego in. Going on first move and swipes second base. His 10th stolen base in 13 attempts. Medina taking a high strike on the first pitch, 0-1 the count. Medina taking it specifically to give Diego a chance for the steal. Another Pape material handling and stolen base. The strike one pitch, Max a chopper up along first. This will move the runner. The ball fielded by the pitcher Walton, who then fields on the line and sprints to the bag for the out. But Medina gets his job done. A little tapper up along the first baseline, sending Diego Cruz to third. Diego, the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Maverick Russell, the batter. Maverick hit by a pitch in the first inning and scored the night's run on a double by Dakota Chun. 1-1, bottom of the third inning. Tyler Walton from the stretch delivers to Maverick, down and in. Ball one, 1-0. I inquired of Maverick in our pregame show, and it displayed the woeful ignorance of my life in asking about how he got his name and the unconventional spelling. I'm about to say something that I know will be shameful to declare it again, but it's the truth. The pitch to Maverick, a strike, and the count 1-1. He said Top Gun, and then it kind of occurred to me, well, wait a minute. Is the Tom Cruise character Maverick in that spelled that way, M-A-V-E-R-E-K? And I asked because I've never seen Top Gun. The pitch to Maverick Russell, grounded fair down the right field line and into the corner. Diego Cruz down the line from third to score, and Maverick, M-A-V-E-R-E-K, with an RBI double, and the Knights lead it 2-1. No matter the spelling, whether the conventional James Garner type Maverick or Mel Gibson, I think, played him in the movie, right? Garner, Maverick, Portland Mavericks. M-A-V-E-R-E-K. Dakota Chun steps in. A 2-1 Knights lead here in the bottom of the third. Dakota takes high and away. I certainly know of the movies. I kind of know a little bit of the music. I've never seen either one. And you may have gleaned that I kind of like the movies and have occasionally refer to my life on the air to moving pictures, motion pictures. But I've never seen Top Gun. And again, that's a bit of a shameful thing to declare. My daughter Lydia, generally speaking, hasn't been too ashamed of her old man until the one day a camera came up. What's your favorite Taylor Swift song, Mike? This was before some sort of Beaver game. The pitch to Dakota Chun, hit foul off to the left. A person on the street, social media. We're looking for everybody's favorite Taylor Swift song, and I had to. My daughter was right. Dad, say something. I said, honey, I don't know a single one. How can I have a favorite? I don't know. The 2-1 pitch, a ground ball to short, fielded by J.P. Acosta. Acosta's throw to first is in time to get Dakota, who had doubled home a run back in the first. Grounds out here on the play. Maverick Russell advances to third. Ryan Severns, the batter. And my daughter Lydia looked at me and just said, Dad. That's it, that's all she, Dad. So I still can't answer the question, even though I tried after that. Okay, play me a song or two by her, and she did. And I still can't name a one. Something about, and there's one about, I'll never get back together with you, or it's your fault, or we're done, or something to that. That one kind of stuck with me. Ryan Severns takes down and away, ball one. The 1-0 pitch, grounded foul outside of third. So I don't know which to be more embarrassed about, not knowing a single Taylor Swift tune or never having seen either Top Gun. Go online now and register your answer on our poll question. No, that's a Dan Patrick thing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan Severns trying to give the Knights an additional run with a 2-out hit. The Knights a run in the first to tie and score a run here in the third. A leadoff single for Diego Cruz. He steals second, goes to third on a ground out by Max Medina, scores on Maverick Russell's double. And now Maverick at third with 2 down. Ryan aboard on an error in the first inning, takes the 2-1 pitch for a strike. 2-2 the count. Tyler Walton works out of the stretch. The 2-2 breaking ball, a line drive into left field, base hit. Maverick Russell trots home. Ryan Severn takes a turn and holds at first, and the Knights lead it 3-1. A bit of a hanger, and Severns knew what to do with it. Maverick Russell has been hit by a pitch and doubled. He scored twice. The Knights lead it 3-1. Zane Garvey will be the hitter. Zane flied to center field in the first. Severns is a threat to run. In fact, he goes on the first pitch. The throw is high, and Ryan Severns is in with a stolen base. That means another $50, compliments of Papay Material Handling, moving you one step closer to home. $25 from Papay Material Handling and another $25 from the Corvallis Knights. $50 to Community Outreach, Inc., helping people in our community live productive and healthy lives. Ryan Severns with his 10th stolen base in 10 attempts this summer. He's in scoring position for Zane Garvey, who takes the strike one pitch up and away. Ball one, 1-1. 3-1 Knights, bottom of the third. Steve Zabriskie will be joining me when we go to the fourth on this beautiful Go Beavs night at the ballpark. Garvey swings and misses, and the count 1-2. It's nice to have, I think he mentioned a couple of players. They were fun to watch yesterday. Deshaun Gorey and Daniel Freitag. A couple of guards in the program, very competitive with each other, but friends here and at the ballpark together, taking this one in. Freitag averaged over 20 points per game last year at Buffalo. Is going to be a huge addition to the men's basketball program. The pitch to Garvey, foul back, 1-2 the count. Ryan Severns getting his lead from second. The 1-2 pitch, change just outside. Tyler Walton was wanting to stride off the mound. Pretty good pitch, and it just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs with 2 runs in the inning. Zane Garvey, University of Portland bound, trying to drive in Ryan Severns, cues one slowly foul in front of the Knights dugout. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Zane has had a really good summer and really excited for the next opportunity for him in his collegiate career. He swings and taps one foul at the plate. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Out of South Ridge High in Beaverton. Big spring this past year at Western Oregon, earning him the opportunity through the Knights again to go to the University of Portland in the fall. The 2-2 pitch taken just outside on the fastball, ball 3, 3-2. Once again, Tyler Walton was starting to beat a path towards his dugout on the first base side, but is still out there pitching with a count of 3-2 to Garvey. Ryan Severns at second, 3-1 Knights in the bottom of the third. The 3-2 pitch, Garvey takes a fastball on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Tyler Walton finally gets the call he thought he deserved on a couple of previous pitches, and now Bryce Reeves is hearing it from head coach Brooke Knight. Garvey was trotting down to first, so tough to please. There's no question about that in the profession. Both teams, he heard it from both sides now, and by the way, Judy Collins and Bruce Coburn will be playing together in Eugene in October. I'm on my way to Fort Collins that weekend and will miss it, but I'm hoping some of you will be able to take the show in, and I want reports. But Judy and Bruce together, and certainly the experience of Bryce Reeves, he's heard it from both sides now. We go to the fourth, the Knights 3 and Ridgefield 1, back in 90 on Joe Radio. Through 3 innings at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, the Knights 3 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Ridgefield 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 errors. Colin Novacek staked now to a 2-run lead. Goes to work on Braden Watson, who is just on this RBI tear, 33 in his last 17 games. Swings at a 1-0 pitch and fouls it into Urchin Alley. That's Urchin Alley, which I know Steve Zabriskie, the longtime, in fact, 30-year career as an outstanding broadcaster doing so many different sports, and grandfather to Joey Morosco, the Knight shortstop tonight. It's been fun to get to know Joey and his family, and part of the family, Steve Zabriskie, longtime voice, college football, college basketball, Major League Baseball. Steve, you've heard me refer to Urchin Alley. You see the urchins line up out here, so I hope that's the appropriate name. The 1-2 pitch to Watson, a one-hopper, and it gives Joey trouble. He barehands, fires to first, not in time. Nice try. It'll be a base hit, I'm sure, for Braden Watson. The official scorekeeper, Brooks Hatch, is visiting with Justin Joyner, the new men's basketball coach. So somebody else will render the decision. But that's too tough to handle. I'm not going to give your grandson E6. Right?
Well, I think the sun was also a factor.
Yeah, I think
those guys, that left field, shortstop, third base, it's brutal this time of night.
No, it is, no doubt. Great to meet you, Steve. Thanks for coming up. You've been kind enough to send a couple of texts along the way during the course of the summer. And it was a true pleasure to visit with you today, your wife, Linda. I hope you're enjoying your stay in Corvallis.
I am honored to be here. It's the first time I've been in Corvallis, despite doing college football for 20-some years. And this is a beautiful ballpark, and I'm honored to meet you, too. I appreciate your career and what you've done.
Thank you, Steve. A chopper to third. Ryan Severns goes to second. Diego Cruz throws to first. And Maverick Russell caught the ball and made a tag on J.P. Acosta. The base umpire says safe. That call's got to be changed. Maverick Russell went up high, received the ball, and tagged J.P. Acosta. Clearly, easily. He's got to be out, right, Steve? I'm sorry. But
I would agree with you. They're talking it over now.
I mean, Schneider may not have had the best angle, and the throw certainly pulled Maverick Russell off the bag, but he came off and tagged J.P. Acosta. So I think that we're going to see a double play and an out, yes, and we get the right call. Now, I also think, in fairness, that Ridgefield turned a double play when the third baseman threw a ball into foul grounds. I thought that runner was out for the Knights. So the Knights get a little bit of home cooking perhaps, but it's the right call on the 5-4-3 double play. 2 outs, nobody on. Braden Orm, the batter. Braden takes ball 1, 1-0. How did you and all your, because it's hard for me, in all your years working alongside legendary analysts such as Tim McCarver and Jim Palmer and Ralph Kiner and Rusty Staub and so many great people that you worked alongside, when you would see an umpire boot a call, how did you, generally speaking, handle that when maybe you were a hometown guy as opposed to a network guy?
No, I think we called it as we saw it, and I think that's what you have to do. You know, I think a good play is a good play, a bad play is a bad play.
A 1-0 pitch, ground ball to Joey Morosco, looks it in, throws cleanly across to Maverick Russell, and the inning is over. We'll continue our conversation with Steve Zabriskie. His first ever trip to Corvallis, he told me earlier today, he's been at every other place in the old Pac-10 and Pac-12, but thanks to the Knights and his grandson Joey playing here, getting a chance to come to this beautiful part of the world. We'll continue our conversation with Steve as we go to the bottom of the fourth. It remains the Knights 3 and Ridgefield 1, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
from George Fox University, the shortstop, number 7, Joey Morosco.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Joey Morosco for the second straight time, first ball swinging. A ground ball to short, fielded by his opposite number, J.P. Acosta, who throws Joey out. One pitch, one gone. That didn't quite play to script, Steve, and you know how that goes. I mean, you're married to Linda, who is Joey's Linda's James Morosco, Joey's father's mom, and so you guys, I think you were telling me, married in 2014?
Correct.
Yeah, and a wonderful person. Really have enjoyed getting to know her a little bit here on this trip as well. But I wanted Joey to be at the plate for a while, so we'll talk a little more about him. He grounds out on the first pitch. He's 0 for 2. Xavier Rios, the batter, swings at the first pitch and doesn't get it. The 0-1 pitch in the turf, and the count 1-1. But we can talk about him anyway. What a great young man. I've really enjoyed meeting his family, and I get the sense from you've really enjoyed the time you spent with Joey and Max Medina, their roommates. It seems like Joey's enjoyed his time here, too.
He is very much. He appreciates Coach Knight. He's gotten into the history and the what really the Knights really are. He appreciates that, and he's happy to be a part of it. And he appreciates the coaching he's got and the teammates he has. He and Max have become very close. They're both from near each other in California, and they've had a good relationship.
Rio swings at the 2-2 pitch and drives it toward the left field fence on a couple of hops, played there by Josh Proctor, and Xavier, just to be sure, slides into second. A one-out double for Xavier. The Knights leading 3-1 and trying to add to it here in the bottom of the 4th. Kellen Siegel, the hitter. It was a real pleasure early to discover that when I saw Joey, I wasn't quite thinking of it. James told me, and Joey himself, but James, when I met Joey's father, said that Joey was named for Joltin' Joe, the great Joe DiMaggio, and Joey's own knowledge and understanding. I just so appreciate that young Joey Morosco even knows who Joe DiMaggio is. Kellen Siegel, a line drive, base hit to right field. Reed Farrell plays it on a couple of hops, stopping at third base, Xavier Rios. Good swing by Kellen Siegel, hitting the ball the other way. Runners at first and third, one out. Diego Cruz, the batter. But I can tell that when you said he appreciates the Knights' history, my sense is Joey appreciates the history of the game and is a student of the game.
He is, and his dad has a lot to do with that. And he's named Joseph Vincent Morosco, the same middle name as Joe DiMaggio even. And that's because James grew up idolizing, even though his career was over even when James was young.
First and third, a throw to first. Kellen was leaning a bit, but he's able to fall back on the bag. Diego Cruz has popped to second, singled to right last inning, and stole a base, scored a run. The Knights leading 3-1, and in business again. Runners at the corners, and one out. The 1-0 pitch, first pitch, to Diego, in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. Kellen, a threat to run, has a very short lead at first, draws a throw. The Knights have been taking advantage of Tyler Walton in terms of the stolen base. Two of them last inning, getting huge jumps on both occasions. Tyler appears to be paying a little more attention now to Kellen, and there goes Kellen. Walton doesn't step off, and Kellen goes into second base, standing up with the Knights' third steal of the night. Brooke Knight likes to run, and most of the guys on the team run.
Yeah,
Steve.
they've got a lot of speed, and they use it, and that's a great weapon.
3-1 Knights, runners at second and third and one out. Coach Cotto brings his infield all the way in. The pitch to Diego, pounded foul at the plate, and the count goes to 1-2 to Diego Cruz.
You know, Mike, there's an irony there, too, in that speed actually slows down the game because you get more throws to first, you get pitchers stepping off, and, of course, Major League Baseball's taken steps to limit that now, but it's kind of ironic that speed actually slowed down the game a little bit.
The strike two pitch sails high and away to Diego Cruz. We talked about a lot of things this morning, Steve. You've had an interesting life and a lot of a good portion of it, and a significant part of your life in the Pacific Northwest in Edmonds. That surprised me a little bit, in that a lot of your life has been in the East and in Florida. The strike two pitch in the turf, gathered by Braden Watson, throws down to first base to get Diego Cruz. 2 down, and Max Medina, the batter, but you were a four-sport athlete at Edmonds High School and had an opportunity after that to go to the University of Houston. I want to talk to you about in a moment. Now the script is playing along because Chris Cota's out to the mound, the head coach for Ridgefield, so we can talk about this a little bit. Tell us a little bit about getting to Edmonds, but most of your life not really out here in this part of the world.
No, my dad was transferred right when I had started high school. I'm from Palo Alto, California originally, and we moved up there. He was transferred to Seattle, and we lived in Edmonds, which is, of course, a suburb. And that's where I finished high school. My dad got transferred again after my junior year. And in order to maintain some continuity, my high school coach, my football coach and baseball coach, Rich Rowe, built a bedroom and bathroom onto his house so that I could stay there. And I lived with them my senior year. And great family, and it was a good experience. And I have a lot of friends in the Northwest still.
But out of that, and Coach Knight was summoned for a moment by Bryce Reeves about some note being taken. I'm not sure what, but the Knights have runners at second and third after the conversation with head coach Chris Cota with Tyler Walton. Max Medina, the batter, Joey Morosco's roommate here this summer with the Knights. Max climbing in, trying to add to the Knights' lead. I'm visiting with Steve Zabriskie, longtime college football, college basketball, ABC, ESPN, the voice, television voice with the New York Mets, and the late, great Tim McCarver, and other distinguished broadcasters as you worked in a very amazing time. But before we get to that, Steve, you were obviously a very good football player, had opportunities to go to a lot of places, and you chose Bill Yeoman in Houston. Yeoman, a legendary coach, the pitch to Max Medina, outside ball two. Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, I was going to go to Oklahoma, and I had made that decision after my junior year. And
to play for Bud Wilkinson.
I wanted to play for Coach Wilkinson, and then he retired. And he ran for Senate, which he did not win. And so I decided I needed to go somewhere else.
The 2-0 pitch, a strike, and the count 2-1.
And I really, really appreciated Coach Yeoman, and they were putting in the veer offense, and as a running back, that was interesting to me. And I went down there on a trip, of course, and really liked it, and so I changed my mind and made my formal decision to go to Houston.
The 2-1 pitch is in there for strike two. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, Bud Wilkinson, I mean, I don't know, you know, was he and the Oklahoma program kind of something you held in high esteem growing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the coach, Dick Heatley, who recruited me, was a great guy. He's a former Oklahoma player.
2-2 pitch fouled away. The count remains 2-2. So you end up for the legendary Bill Yeoman at Houston, but you've had 8 knee surgeries, and those began right. I mean, it was right away you were dealing with things right your freshman year.
Yeah, I had 2 very severe leg injuries over the course of about a year and a half that really ended my football career very prematurely.
The 2-2 pitch on the way. Medina, a ground ball wide to first, off the mid of Zach Wattis into shallow right. Coming down the line to score is Xavier Rios. Kellen Siegel motors to third. The Knights lead it 4-1. Max Medina putting the ball in play, and we'll have to wait and see what Brooks Hatch. He's a tough official scorer, what he calls that. He's going base hit, I believe, here from Medina, and a run batted in. The Knights lead it 4-1. Maverick Russell hit by a pitch and scored in the first, doubled and scored, drove in a run last inning, comes to the plate now. And there goes Medina. He looked in. Medina, without a play at second, slides in. I think it was hit and run. Maverick took the pitch. Whatever the case, it worked out. Medina steals second, and Maverick Russell now with a chance for a couple of runs batted in. But again, the Knights running wild here tonight, leading it 4-1, have 4 stolen bases on the evening. So, Steve, that we don't have time to go over everything, but you were also a baseball player. You spent some time in the Oakland organization and instructional league, and then you just couldn't quite get through the knee injuries, it sounds like, right?
It was hard. I had annual knee operations that sort of eventually, the doctors talked me into hanging it up after trying for about 2.5 years.
But the broadcast opportunities came when you were pretty young.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. I had an opportunity to start working in radio while I was still playing, or actually while I was recovering from surgery in the off season. And
Yeah,
and so I decided to stay with it.
Well, you did, and yet you didn't stay with it as long as a lot of people do, and that's what I found admirable, unusual, impressive in many ways in talking your story with you. Maverick Russell swings and strokes it into right center field. Base hit. Kellen Siegel scores. Right behind him is Max Medina. The ball gets all the way to the gap in right center field, and Maverick Russell having himself a night. A 2-run double, 3 RBIs for Maverick, and the Knights open up a 6-1 lead, playing good baseball in this rubber match and an important game for the Knights in their playoff bid. Maverick Russell with a 2-run double. Dakota Chun, the batter, and Chris Cota's going to make a pitching change, and we'll keep things here as he does and continue the conversation with Steve Zabriskie. Honored to have him here on our broadcast on this beautiful night in Corvallis. 6-1 Knights. Steve, the opportunities came, and they're varied. I mean, you're doing Texas men's basketball for a while in one of your early jobs, right?
For my first real play-by-play job, yeah. And that was in, I don't know, 1970?
Okay.
Yeah,
who was the head coach at Texas then? For who?
The basketball coach. I can't remember.
Okay, but
I'm
Darryl
not
Royal.
blessed with your recall
but
ability.
Darryl Royal was at Texas,
Yes.
beginning to kind of wrap down the incredible career.
Yes.
And you and Darryl got to know each other pretty well.
We did, and I don't know why, but he, as we say in Texas, he took a liking to me.
I can see why.
And he was a nice man, and he really, I guess he appreciated my work, and he let me know that, and we had a nice friendship. Even after he quit coaching, I was able to see him a couple of times, and while I was still doing college football, and so it was nice. And he was really a great coach and just a real gentleman.
One of the things that I've read about Darryl, and you may know this having been steeped in that lore for a while, Oklahoma, Chuck Fairbanks, the Bud Wilkinson era, but Darryl with the wishbone, and Emory Ballard was, kind of the creator of it, but Darryl perfected it at Texas. Incredible. But he shared it. The secrets. I mean, even with the most competitive of coaches, the Oklahoma head coach, he said, look, so-and-so's in trouble. He may lose his job. We got to go down there and teach him our wishbone.
Yes.
I mean, I just find that wonderful on Darryl Royal's part to share that kind of stuff.
That's the kind of guy he was. And the interesting thing about that is when I was at Houston and we started running the veer, which is a double option, Emory Ballard came to Houston to learn about the veer.
Okay.
And Chuck Fairbanks was our offensive coordinator. Bum Phillips was our defensive coordinator. We had great coaches.
Yeah.
And so from the veer, they got this idea of adding the third back and taking it into the wishbone. And, yeah, it was something that I think a lot of people were surprised by, because there was a compassion there and a concern for a fellow coach that a lot of head coaches would not demonstrate.
Such a cutthroat world in so many ways, and that says a lot about Coach Royal. We're visiting with Steve Zabriskie as Chris Cota makes the change and goes with a left-hander, Caden Thompson, who comes into the ball game for Ridgefield, with the Knights opening up a 6-1 lead here in the bottom of the fourth. Caden, out of Lynn Benton Community College, I understand, is looking for a landing spot. He's out of Kamiakin High School in Richland, began his career at the University of Portland, has pitched for Andy Peterson at LB, and now faces Dakota Chun, left on left. The first pitch to Dakota is in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. 6-1 Knights in the bottom of the fourth inning. Maverick Russell, a 2-run double at second. Maverick expressed something I was really impressed with. Dakota Chun, a drive to right. Reed Farrell backs up, makes the catch, and the inning is over. And that is, Maverick said before the game that he's here for the duration. He wants to win a championship, and that's the sense I get from Medina, from Joey. You hope that everybody's all in. It's quote-unquote, well, just summer ball, but winning itself. We're going to take a break here. I'd like to get your thoughts about the importance of trying to win a championship. We'll come back with more with Steve Zabriskie. The Knights get 3 at the end of 4. The Knights 6 and Ridgefield 1 back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
No matter what team you're on, no matter where you explore, there's a Richardson for you. We don't just give you our word, we give you our name. We started over 50 years ago as a hometown sporting goods business, with a particular devotion to America's pastime. As we grew, so did demand for our products, both on and off the field of play. Today we serve teams, brands, and businesses, and we've earned our reputation as the best. We did it through our devotion to our craft and our customers. We've built our business on the spirit of competition and the thrill of adventure, with a relentless focus on details and an enduring commitment to quality in every stitch. We've set a high bar for ourselves because you've made our team part of your team. And your team deserves the best.
Six to 1 Knights as we move to the top of the 5th inning. Linda Zabriskie, Steve's wife, has just made a little trip down the stairs, back up the steps, settling in below the McGrath family press box. Novacek's 1-0 pitch is high and away, the count 1-1. If you could, you mentioned just your deep love and appreciation for you, and Linda, your wife, whom you called as wise, common sense and wise a person as you've ever known, and that's a great tribute. The pitch to Reagan McCluskey in there for a strike, and I can just tell that you're speaking the truth when you say that.
Yeah, I'm as you were talking about guys being all in for a championship, I'm all in for Linda.
That's beautiful.
I never, after my late wife of more than 30 years passed away, I never expected to certainly get married or even meet anybody again.
Yeah, we're going to. I think Linda's saying say hi to her son, James, and we're planning on it specifically. We're going to give him a shout out. Is Sammy listening? Oh, okay. Okay, we'll do it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We're getting a little direction here, and we're going to follow it. And I was planning on it anyway with the 3-2 pitch, a high fly ball to right field. Zane Garvey. Ooh. Loses it in the wind, I guess, Steve. A fly ball that was up there a long time. It is a little bit tricky with the breezes, and Zane looked like that ball just got pushed on him a little bit, but I noticed Brooke Knight, the skipper, immediately pulling out his notepad, making a note of what just happened, which it happens in baseball. That looked to me like a routine fly ball, but you're sitting up here where I am. The breezes can be tricky.
Yeah, and it looked like it turned him around. It looked like he had it, and then all of a sudden it moved on him, and he turned around to try to get it, but it was behind him.
It'll be a 2-base error, even though he never actually touched the ball. Brooks Hatch is assessing an error to Zane Garvey on the Reagan McCluskey high pop fly. Reed Farrell, the batter, first ball swinging, hits it foul towards Urchin Alley. No balls and 1 strike. So a couple of things to get to, but let's start first things first. Linda just came by to kind of inform us as we sit outside the press box on these beautiful summer nights. Family is listening back home, so it is an honor to say hello to everybody listening. That includes not only, and whoever you want to say hi to, let's do it, but we have a very special young person who I had a chance to meet earlier this summer named Sam.
Yeah, James, Julia, and Sammy. Sammy is Joey's younger sister and quite the young lady. Yeah, it's a wonderful family, I'll tell you.
They are. The pitch on the way, that's also fouled into Urchin Alley. I think Linda was telling me Sammy has some sort of competition that she's been involved with this week? Or?
They've been back in Pennsylvania for figure skating. Oh, Sammy's a figure skater. Nice. And they had some nationals back there, and Sammy did very well. I think she took 3rd place in the individual competition, and I don't know yet what the team competition results are. But congratulations, Sammy.
Absolutely.
We love you and miss you.
Congratulations, Sammy. Meeting James and Julia here early in the season. The Knights leading 6-1 here in the top of the 5th. Reagan McCluskey aboard on a 2-base error to open the inning, getting his lead from second. Colin Novacek's gone all the way. The southpaw back to the plate, And the pitch is down and in for. Now I'm not sure what the home plate umpire never threw his hands in the air. It's a wild pitch, not a hit batter. The count goes to 2-2. Here comes Chris Cota for clarification. The runner has moved to third, and apparently if you don't hear dead ball or hit batter, then you've got to keep playing. So the runner, McCluskey, was right to go to third, and another conference coming with the umpires now. If it's a hit batter, McCluskey's got to go back to second. Reed Farrell would get his base, but the call on the field is ball 2, and the ball glanced off the mid of Xavier Rios, and apparently that call is going to stand. So the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. The umpires are learning the craft here too, Steve, right? I mean, there's a lot to it.
Oh, it's a tough job. It's a thankless job, and there's only 2 of them here, so that makes it a little tougher.
So Reed Farrell stays up there.
They are learning.
Yeah. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The runner goes to third on what we'll assume will be a wild pitch, sending McCluskey to third base. So, Sammy, it was a delight to meet James and Julia. And Sammy, if you're listening, it was a sheer pleasure to meet you because she has one of the more winsome smiles I've ever seen. Just a sweetheart of a person. And
she is that.
2 balls and 2 strikes. McCluskey gets his lead from third. Novacek to the plate and misses. So when you mention figure skating, I do want to hear your ice sports story when it comes to the Olympics and working for ABC in 1980. Because I asked if you knew Al Michaels very well, and you had a story for me. The 3-2 pitch, just high, ball 4. Reed Farrell ultimately does get his base. There are runners at first and third, and Brooke Knight is on his way to the mound, either to make a change or visit with Colin. Usually it's the former, so we'll see. So, okay, Sammy and James and Julia all listening. Great to have you. Sammy, keep up that figure skating. Hope you're having a great time, and maybe we'll see you in a Winter Olympics someday. But what is your Winter Olympics story?
Well, I was new with ABC. I freelanced with the network beginning in '76, went on full-time in '79. So in 1980, Al Michaels had already been there for a couple of years. And they had a Wide World of Sports event scheduled, and Alfalfa, as we call him, was going to do it. And it was motorcycles on ice in Eindhoven, Holland, in the middle of winter. And it was obviously the same time as the Winter Olympics that year. Well, Al Michaels got the hockey assignment. I got the motorcycles on ice and had to go to Eindhoven, Holland, and freeze my tuchus off.
Motorcycles on ice.
Trying to pronounce a bunch of names that look like eye charts.
And I don't think you'd ever done motorcycles on ice
before or since.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. It was a lot of fun, but we laughed about that for a long time because Al, of course, became famous because of what happened with the U.S. hockey team.
Yeah.
And I went on to a career of less distinction, and I've never been unhappy about that, actually.
Hang on just a second. What's up? Our PA announcer doing his due diligence, coming out to ask, is it Galanita or Galanita? No, we started the year calling him Galanita, and that's what I was told. And so I'm welcome back to our pregame show. Jack Galanita joining me, and it's Galanita. Oh, okay, well, it is Galanita. It came out of Jack's mouth himself. So he's into the ball game to replace Colin Novacek here in the top of the 5th inning. The Knights leading 6-1. Mike Parker joined by Steve Zabriskie here as the ball game will carry on in a moment. Jack getting ready to face Jordan Marion with the Raptors trying to climb back into this ball game. I wonder a little bit, anybody in the broadcast world, and I want to kind of get back to this championship conversation we're having. You saw a world champion, and you were around the 1986 Mets, a legendary team that won it all. We'll get back to that with respect to the Knights and being all in a moment. But the turns that life can take, I wonder. I don't want to give too much credit or blame to broadcasters. You really never have anything to do with the results. You're just calling things. Right. The pitch to Jordan Marion, a strike, and the count 0-1. First and third, nobody out. 6-1 Knights in the 5th. The Knights infield at double play depth. Reagan McCluskey at third, Reed Farrell at first. Jack Galanita's 0-1 pitch, a line drive to center, right at Max Medina, who makes the catch. McCluskey tags and scores an unearned run. The throw comes back in, it trickles away, and Xavier Rios not able to come up with a handle. And so the Knights are not having the best of innings defensively. Medina the catch, and the throw came back in and missed Joey. It missed Diego. It got to Diego Cruz, who fumbled it. And so good base running on the part of Reed Farrell to go to second, giving the Raptors a chance to get a little bit closer. Jordan Marion with a sacrifice fly to center, now 6-2, and Zach Wattis, the batter. Jack Galanita comes set, and the right-hander to the plate. A high drive to right center field and fairly deep but playable. Medina is there to make the catch. Max fires back in, a good throw and a couple of hops to Ryan Severns, but Reed Farrell is safely in at third. 2 down in the fifth. Hunter Comine, the batter. I'm not here to say that if Al didn't make his famous call, do you believe in miracles? Yes. But the call itself is part of it, isn't it, Steve?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to give Al, that's a brilliant, beautiful line in that moment in time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And those kinds of things are not only remembered, but they can build a career. I mean, he derived so much praise and notoriety from that it kind of put him on the map, because before that he was just another one of us.
A good enough
ABC guys.
Yeah, really good. But you're right. That was the distinguishing mark. The 1-0 pitch fouled at the plate. And so the movie is called Miracle, that our own Mike Rich, an Oregon State graduate, Mike wrote the screenplay, began his career on this frequency, AM 1240 Joe Radio, way, way back. But Mike Rich wrote the screenplay entitled Miracle. And that in itself is part of the whole story. Just as the Giants win the pennant is part of the miracle in 51. Yeah. 6-2 Knights in the top of the fifth inning. A runner at third, 2 outs. Jack Galanita, the count of 1 ball and 1 strike, delivers a check swing tapper in front of the mound, fielded by Galanita, throws to first in time for the out. The inning is over. An unearned run. Pretty good work on the part of Jack Galanita. The run is unearned. The Raptors draw a little bit closer. We'll get to that 86 championship season as we continue the conversation with Steve Zabriskie here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field at the end of 4.5. The Knights 6, Ridgefield 2, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Pups got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
Also in the bottom of 4th inning,
6-2 Knights as we move to the bottom of the fifth inning at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Steve Zabriskie joining me on the broadcast tonight. Also had the pleasure of visiting with our new men's basketball coach, Justin Joyner, the lead assistant for Dusty May in Michigan's national championship in basketball, bringing that culture and excitement to Corvallis and Oregon State. Really excited about the new era ahead in Pac-12 football and basketball. I visited earlier today with Jamarcus Shepard and Mitch Dolan in the football offices. That time of year, heading down the stretch of July, football fall camp just around the corner. Steve has done it all, college football, college basketball, Major League Baseball, and with the New York Mets from 83 to 89 as the TV play-by-play voice, working alongside the likes of the great Tim McCarver, the legendary Ralph Kiner, Rusty Staub, Fran Healy, others. It sounded like a kind of a busy booth, Steve, over those years, but I'm sure that whole era, 2-1 now to Ryan Severns, those are some really interesting years in the Mets history, including that 86 championship season.
And I was blessed to be there when they were not very good, and then when they won it all. And it was interesting to see the team develop and change. And Davy Johnson had a lot to do with that. When he came, a lot of things changed.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Ryan, fists it foul back of the plate.
Of course, Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden and Keith Hernandez and Gary Carter and the people that they either brought up or acquired had a whole lot to do with it, too.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Ryan. Off speed, popped up on the right side. First baseman in foul territory, Zach Wattis, makes the catch. 1 away, and Zane Garvey, the batter. These baseball seasons are such long seasons. The 86 team, what stands out to you about some of the aspects of that championship club that you were calling most of those games that year? What stood out to you?
How eclectic the ball club was. There were so many different personalities, and it was amazing to me how they all came together. They were, as you say, all in. They regardless of whether they liked each other or got along, which they didn't at times. They were all in. They expected to win, and they went out every night. Whatever differences they had, they put them aside, and they were a team, and they went out expecting to win, and they did.
Zane Garvey taking a first pitch breaking ball from Caden Thompson for a strike. The 0-1 pitch misses, and the count 1-1 to Zane, who was flied to center and struck out. Thompson working quickly, delivers and misses down and away. Ball 2, 2-1. By the time you get to the National League Championship Series, which was incredible with Houston, and then the pitch to Garvey missing down and in. Ball 4, Zane Garvey drawing a 1-out walk, and here comes Joey Morosco to the plate. You're off the air by that time if you're the TV, right?
Correct.
The network has it at that point.
Correct.
But were you still going to all the games?
Yes. In fact, the radio station, WFAN, had asked me to do some pre- and post-game stuff with them. So, we followed the club, and we did pre- and post-game on the radio, and saw every game, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it really was. Joey Morosco takes the first pitch he's taken tonight. He had offered at the first pitch both previous at-bats and grounded out, so changes up the approach, takes a strike, the count 0-1, 6-2 Knights in the bottom of the 5th, the 1-out walk to Garvey. Thompson throws over to first, and Zane steps back to the bag. With Joey at the plate, his father, we were talking about James and Julia and Sammy. James was a heck of a ball player.
He was a very good ball player, yes.
The strike 1 pitch, Joey takes a strike, and the count 0-2. And you wrote a book on hitting, right?
I did, for kids.
Yeah.
A long time ago. But I used to teach hitting and coach, and I wrote a book at the request of some coaches.
The strike 2 pitch, Joey sends a fly ball to center field. Hunter Comine moves in to make the catch. 2 down, Xavier Rios, the batter. A thought I really like. I mean, I like Joey, but I like his game, too. I mean, the hitting piece, the hitting, as Ted Williams said, the hardest thing to do in sport. You've seen all sports. You probably don't disagree. It's hard.
I agree. I think hitting a baseball consistently and hitting it hard is the single most difficult thing to do in all of sports.
First pitch is inside, a throw down to first, and a back pick delivered by Braden Watson to Zach Wattis to get Zane Garvey. And the inning is over. I don't think Brooke thinks that that's the right call, and he's kind of walking a little slowly back towards the dugout. We're going to wrap things up with Steve Zabriskie here in a moment in our next inning. The Knights are gone in the 5th. We'll let Steve get back to Linda here in a moment. You got another inning in you? I know I'm bringing you out of retirement.
I'm enjoying it.
I want to talk to you a little bit about that, too, because you retired from Major League Baseball at the age of 50. No one does that. You did. I kind of want to hear that story a little bit as we continue. We go to the 6th, the Knights 6 and Ridgefield 2, back in 90 on Joe Radio.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Leading off the sixth inning for the Raptors, left fielder number 33, Josh Proctor.
Top of the sixth inning, the Knights leading Ridgefield 6-2. Jack Alanita ready to go to Josh Proctor. Josh will be followed by Braden Watson and then J.P. Acosta. Galanita's first pitch to Josh. Pounded foul on top of the Knights dugout on the third base side. 0-1 the count. So when Game 6 occurred, Steve Zabriskie joining me, when Game 6 occurred in Shea in 86, it gets through Buck behind the bag, gets through Buckner. That play, I've always felt so bad for Billy Buck ever since. The chopper at the plate, foul, and the count 0-2. You were there. That's just one of the more amazing innings in baseball history.
It is. Yeah. But I think it's important to note that even if Buckner had fielded that ball, Mookie was going to be safe at first base.
I thought that. You see, people don't.
Bob Stanley did not get off the mound quick enough. He's not the fastest human being anyway. Mookie was going to be safe. Now, what would have happened after that, I don't know.
Right.
You know, whether Ray would have come all the way around. Right. But at least I can with absolute certainty tell you that Mookie Wilson would have been safe even if Bill had picked that ball
People
up.
don't talk about that part of it very often.
They don't.
It gets through Buckner, behind the bag, gets through Buckner, Vinny's call, but 1-2 strikes to Proctor. Galanita delivers. Josh a looper to center field. Medina was playing deep for the powerful Proctor and has got to play it on a hop, and Josh continues his hot hitting. He's 2 for 3 tonight, a leadoff single for Proctor. Braden Watson, the batter. And the other thing, too, that I've always felt should have been emphasized for the late Billy Buckner is that the horse was out of the barn already. The game was tied when that happened. Yes. I mean, the Mets had all the momentum, and if Bill fields that ball cleanly and feeds to Stanley, you're saying he's going to be safe, so now you got first and third, and who knows how that plays out. And but the game had already been tied.
Yes.
Yeah, on Stanley's wild pitch.
Yep.
I mean, I think I've read that the Mets had, the Red Sox had 13 pitches on which they could have closed that thing out that inning and couldn't get it down.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. Yeah. And when you go back and look at that, as you mentioned earlier, the National League Series that got us there, it's truly amazing.
There goes Proctor, and without a throw, Josh is in with a stolen base, so Ridgefield has a chance to scratch and claw a little bit closer. You and Davey Johnson got along well, it sounds like. A great baseball man. What was your relationship like with him?
Well, we both lived in Orlando at the time. Davey's was an Orlando native. And we used to travel together a lot, and I had great respect for him as a manager, and I saw what he did.
Chopper to third. Severns looks back the runner, Josh Proctor, and throws to Maverick Russell for the out. Good job by Ryan. 1 away here in the sixth. Watson, who had an RBI in the first, 33 in 17 games for Braden.
Wow.
Has since had an infield single and grounded to third. J.P. Acosta has walked and grounded into a double play. Comes to the plate. So you and Davey got along well, and if you have a good relationship with a manager, that goes a long way.
It does help a lot, and there's an element of trust that you build over time that really makes a difference because they'll share things with you that they might not otherwise. and that's always helpful. And I think the other part of that, the other side of that, is the people on the baseball side knowing that we as broadcasters are not going to betray that trust. And so you get a lot more out of that relationship if it's mutual.
The 1-0 pitch, lashed to center. Max Medina lays out, makes the catch. Great play by Max, 2 down. Boy, that is a tremendous catch by Max Medina. Takes a base hit and probably an RBI away from the left-hand hitting J.P. Acosta. 2 down, Braden Oram, the hitter. The other thing, too, I've already mentioned, and I've read articles about you, Steve, from people who respected your work. I mean, clearly the rich and tremendous voice and presence, but there was a lot going on in that Mets booth with a lot of different voices and big personalities. And you felt, I mean, you kind of kept a handle on all of it and set up your partners well, and you thought that was your role. Huh?
Yeah, I really did. I thought that my role was to be kind of the host. You know, and play-by-play is, as you know, Mike, keeping people informed at home of what's going on the field. But a lot of it in television is a lot more of an analyst medium. And so part of my job was to really make the analyst shine and know how to basically set them up or you know, help them succeed. And I worked with a lot of different analysts, especially on college football. They would give them to me to sort of break in even, because they knew that that's kind of how I operated. And I was honored to work with a lot of really fine people who came and went really during all those years, doing football particularly, but also baseball.
You mentioned, too, basketball, football. I mean, Jack Ham you worked with in football, and the pitch on the way, chop foul outside of third. The incredible run by North Carolina State under the late Jim Balvano in the tournament began right here in Corvallis, over there at Gill Coliseum when he came. You know, that's where the tournament run in 82-83 for Jimmy V began, and you worked alongside Jim Balvano.
I did. I was honored to do 2 years of college basketball at ESPN with Jimmy V, and it was a delight. And he became too ill to continue after that, and it was a tragic thing. But what a great man, and what a inspiration he was.
The 1-2 pitch to Braden Oram, down and away, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 6-2, nice, pardon me, here in the top of the 6th inning, with Josh Proctor, who was at second with nobody out, still there with 2 outs. Jack Calanita working on the right-hand hitting Oram, delivers, and a ground ball back up the middle into center field. Base hit. Max Medina was playing shallowly, and he comes up with the ball quickly enough to hold Josh Proctor at third. Chris Cota putting up the stop sign. Oram, a single up the middle. Runners at first and third. 2 down for Reagan McCluskey with the fly ball that bewitched Zane Garvey last inning. Zane losing it out in right for a 2-base error. McCluskey scored a run. So runners at first and third, and 2 down. Jack Ham, tell us quickly why you worked with Jack Ham. Was that a college football?
Yes, I was on college football. We did 2 years together.
Okay.
We did a lot of games, and he was one of my real favorites.
Nice.
As far as a partner was concerned, and I'll see him this fall.
The pitch on the way to McCluskey is lined into right center field, base hit. Josh Proctor scores. Garvey juggles the ball out in right center, and that's going to mean another error for Zane, because Braden Oram had stopped at second, but when Zane juggled the ball, Oram found another gear and went to third. I believe that'll be an error charge to Zane. An RBI single for Reagan McCluskey, and you just never know in this game. The Raptors kind of stealthily coming back in here with an unearned run last inning. They get a couple of 2-out hits here in the 6th. It's now the Knights 6 and Raptors 3. Reed Farrell, the batter, runners at the corners, 2 down. Jack Calanita works from the stretch, delivers a ground ball off the end of the bat slowly to Joey Morosco. Joey shovels to Diego Cruz to end the inning. But the Raptors do pick up another run and get a little bit closer. We'll wrap things up with Steve Zabriskie and talk about a second life. At the age of 50, hung up a Major League Baseball microphone. You don't run into that too often. I want to hear Steve on that because it speaks to the type of person that he is as we go to the bottom of the 6. It's the Knights 6 and the Raptors 3 back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Poop's got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Caden Thompson, the left-hander, to Xavier Rios, high, and here we go. The second layer time. Steve Kimmel here to my left, putting on his heavy jacket on this July 30th. Such is life in Corvallis this time of year. The 1-0 pitch is high, ball 2. You came with your jacket on, and I've got my second layer over here that I'm going to go to soon as we go to the bottom of the 6th. 6-3 Knights. Xavier with a count of 2-0. Steps out for a moment. Xavier has struck out, doubled, and scored. Thompson delivers outside, ball 3. Xavier Rios, Kellen Siegel, and Diego Cruz. So you've had wonderful experiences in the broadcast profession beginning at a very young age, in fact, around 20 years of age, and all kinds of wonderful experiences. The Winter Olympics, the college basketball, college football, some NFL work. Worked with Terry Bradshaw and Ken Stabler on some NFL games. The 3-1 pitch to Xavier, high and away for ball 4. So there's too much to cover in such a short time. But in 30 years, you packed a lot in, Steve. But at age 50, with some decisions and things in front of you, you stepped away from it.
I did.
That's admirable, but tell us a little bit why, if you could.
Well, first of all, I was very blessed to have a career that I had over 30 years.
A bunt and a good one from Kellen Siegel. Thompson off the mound, throws to first, not in time. A bunt single for Kellen Siegel. An excellent bunt. He was up there to sacrifice in theory, but he put it in a spot to get a base hit out of it. And Diego Cruz will come to the plate. 2 on, nobody out.
The most amazing part was that I spent 30-plus years on television, and I have the perfect face for radio.
You didn't do a whole lot of radio in your life.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. A little bit, but not much.
Yeah, okay.
But I enjoy radio because it's an announcer's medium. But I started extricating myself from the travel. It was really the travel that got to me, doing football, basketball, baseball.
Right. First pitch to the backstop, a wild pitch. Diego was turning to show bunt, and the wild pitch sends Xavier Rios to third and Kellen Siegel to second. 1-0 to Diego Cruz. 6-3 Knights. They have a chance to get a more comfortable lead again, a quick meeting at the mound. So the travel in all three sports, and that's a lot. So you kind of came to a point at the age of 50 where you said, okay, I've had a great career here. Let's do something else now.
And as my contracts were coming to an end, I had some little soul searching because I wanted to be home with the family. My kids were growing up without me. And I was really getting tired of the travel and the overlapping of the season. So as I could, I sort of got out of each thing. First college basketball, then kind of simultaneously college football and Major League Baseball. And so at the end of '97, I was able to say, okay.
The 2-0 pitch to Diego, a strike, and the count 2-1. But in those latter years, a couple of years with the Boston Red Sox, so you worked with these iconic franchises, didn't you? Yeah. How was it? Did you like life in Boston? Those games?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. The history and the ballpark, and I had only been there. I'd spent a lot of time in the National League, so I hadn't been there a lot, and I really enjoyed that experience of going to some of the more older, iconic ballparks, especially.
Diego Cruz with a count of 3-1, a chopper over the drawn-in infield. That'll score 2. Coming down the line, Xavier Rios. Kellen Siegel scores standing up. The throw comes all the way to the plate, and Diego Cruz takes second. And the Knights lead it 8-3 on the 2-run single to left for Diego Cruz. And that is a beautiful job on Diego's part. The drawn-in infield, and he tapped it over him, Steve, and that'll work.
That was one of those wee Willie Keeler jobs. Hit them where they ain't.
Exactly.
Butcher boy.
Yep. Well done. And the Knights back comfortably in front now, 8-3 in the 6th. So what did you pivot to, essentially?
Well, I had a business and had some success running a business, and a lot of people were asking me to help them locally with people I knew with their business.
Medina drags a bunt up along first. If it stays fair, that's a base hit. It stays fair. Beautiful bunt, and the Knights have it going here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Max Medina with the bunt single, dragging it up along the first baseline. The second bunt single of the frame. The Knights have scored 2. Runners at the corners, nobody out, leading 8-3. And Maverick Russell coming up. Did you find when you kind of shifted into that business that you'd already been engaged in, did you miss the broadcasting ever a lot in those early years, or were you comfortable and at peace right away with that decision?
I missed the people. Okay. I missed the guys. I missed the camaraderie. I missed, some of the people I worked with. I missed some of the players. It had been a part of my life for,
Sure.
I've been in Major League Baseball my whole adult life at that time,
right?
Really. And I did miss the people,
right? But not the travel.
I didn't miss the travel,
or the hotels and all that.
And I still don't enjoy traveling that much. But I have some, I'm going to be 80 my next birthday, so I have some physical things that, slow you down a little bit from a travel standpoint.
The strike one pitch hits Maverick Russell on the top of the helmet. And Maverick goes down immediately. He's kicking his legs. The helmet came off, and he is lying on his stomach, his hands over the top of his head. Fastball coming in off the top of his helmet and dislodging the helmet from his head. Brooke Knight down on one knee. The Knights athletic trainer comes out. I think Maverick is probably he's going to want to stay in the game. I know him. He wants to stay in the game. I wonder if he will be allowed to after getting drilled on the helmet. He wants to stay in, and the trainer is asking him the leading questions, right, Steve, walking down the line here. That was
concussion
scary.
Protocol.
Yeah, that was scary. Did you ever in all you must have seen some frightening things along those lines, hit by pitches.
Yeah, and one of the most frightening things I saw was before they put netting up along some of the baselines of some stadiums. I saw some fans unfortunately take both foul balls and bats in the face or the head, and that was tragic and terrible.
Well, how about this? Maverick has talked his way, and he's answered all the questions appropriately. That's tough right there. He stays in the game, getting hit on the top of the helmet.
When I played football, it was how many fingers am I holding up? All right, get back in there.
That was it. We have a great OSU Hall of Famer, Steve Priest, played in the NFL with the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. Steve was an All-America here for DeAndros at Oregon State, the Giant Killers team in the mid-'60s that beat USC here in OJ 3-0, November 11th, 1967. It's our most famous athletic event probably in Oregon State history, that win. Steve Priest was part of it. But Steve said, concussion protocol in the in football in those days, and he said my nickname was Eggs because my head was I was scrambled. They just called me Eggs.
That's a good one.
Yeah. The pitch missing high to Dakota Chun, the 1-0 pitch outside, ball 2, 2-0. I mean, the concussion protocol, though, we got it. I mean, it's just absolutely. I'm surprised, given that the Mavericks stayed in the game, given how quickly he went to the field here after getting hit. A ground ball slowly to second, fielded by Marion, goes to Acosta for one. The throw to first is not in time. The ball hit too slowly for a double play. Down the line to score comes Diego Cruz. The Knights lead it 9-3. Max Medina into third. Maverick Russell forced at second, and he can get down into the dugout and rest up a little bit with Dakota Chun aboard on the fielder's choice RBI 4-6. And Ryan Severns will be the hitter. Coach Cota on his way out to the mound as we wrap things up with Steve Zabriskie, longtime Major League broadcaster, college football, college basketball, Joey Morosco's grandfather. Steve Kimmel, a good man. He comes to all the Knights games. Steve Zabriskie, longtime outstanding voice, Emmy Award winner in his time with the New York Mets as well. Steve, before this bottom of the sixth inning plays on, last few things, really appreciate your time. So you had moved into, you missed the personalities, you said, and then the people, but it sounds like you've had another 30 years out of the broadcast world that you've really appreciated and enjoyed.
I really have. I had a second career in financial services, if you will, and enjoyed that greatly, and I was able to. They're honoring the coaches.
I'm not quite sure. You know what? I didn't hear all of that. I may need to check, but one of the loudest ovations of the night just came from Ross Durfeld, our public address announcer, asking the fans to recognize and acknowledge somebody or something going on here. And I apologize for not knowing. I'll try to figure out here in a moment as Hayden Morrison comes into the game for Ridgefield.
I think it was your women's basketball coach.
Okay. Maybe Scott Ruick is here. I'm not sure. Do you know what they were asking people to cheer for? What did they just announce?
Slovakia team.
Huh?
The Slovakia team.
Oh, what Slovakia team? Basketball?
Yeah.
20 track.
Oh, track. Okay, yeah, I have been noticing, Steve, here we're getting a little information. I've noticed some athletes, there's apparently a U20, or it looks younger than that, to be honest with you, looking off to the left, in some blue and white team gear, like sweats, and it's apparently a Slovakian track and field team in Eugene competing in some championship events down the road at Hayward Field, and they're here tonight, and we're just introduced and got a huge round of applause. Good for them. So, wrapping things up with Steve Zabriskie tonight, the Knights leading 9-3 here in the bottom of the sixth inning. A new pitcher for Ridgefield, Hayden Morrison. So how much do you follow the game these days? And you worked with, and I'm holding the book, Tim McCarver's Baseball for Brain Surgeon and Other Fans. You can see I've plied this book pretty well through the years.
It's worn.
I love this book. I loved his work. What was it like to work alongside Tim McCarver?
It was a joy. Tim and I were good friends before we went to the Mets. I had actually auditioned him when he first quit playing for a color job at ABC. We did a spring training game, which was kind of his audition. And, of course, that led to not only the Mets, but a great career that he did have, a lot of those years with ABC. And I think Tim was one of the best analysts ever in the game.
I agree.
He was a guy that a lot of people either loved or hated, but he was opinionated, and I think that's what divided people. He had strong opinions.
There goes Dakota Chun. He wanted to draw a throw and does, and the throw goes into second, and Max Medina comes down the line to score. Well played by the Knights, Dakota, and abating the pitcher, Hayden Morrison, into stepping off and making a throw, and then the throw was inaccurate, in and out of the glove of the second baseman covering, and so the Knights pick up another run and lead it 10-3 with Max Medina coming down the line to score. A 4-run inning in the works for the Knights, and now Dakota Chun at second with one out. Ryan Severns at the plate. Breaking ball from Morrison is in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. So those types of people that you got to meet and work alongside over the years. But nevertheless, you transitioned into a new world that sounds like it's been a great life. I'm wondering, reading Tim's book here, The Pitch to Severance, he talks about the importance of graphics and the importance of using information and knowledge. How much do you watch today Major League games? Do you watch them much, and have you see things being a lot different the way games are televised from your era?
And a lot, not a lot, but there are a number of differences. And I was a kid in Palo Alto when the Giants came from New York, so I grew up a Giants fan. Now I've gone back to kind of being a Giants fan and living in the Bay Area.
Strike two pitch, a ground ball to short. J.P. Acosta up with it and throws out Severance, holding at second base Dakota Chun. 2 down, and that'll bring Zane Garvey to the plate.
But I don't watch a lot of games, and one of the reasons I don't is because of Joey. I'm watching you guys every night.
More of a Knights person and a Joey person.
Exactly.
Right, yeah,
so,
I get it.
6:35, I've got that streaming ball game on, listening to the great Mike Parker. I mean, I'm enjoying myself.
That's great.
Much more here than I
got you.
Than I had
I
before.
appreciate that, Steve. Thank you. And the pitch to Zane Garvey is stroked into right field. Base hit. Dakota Chun rounding third. He will score. Zane Garvey with an RBI single, but then takes a turn at first and will be run down and tagged out to end the inning. And Zane Garvey, though, gets an RBI single to right. The Knights up the lead to 11-3. Well, I'm glad to know, Steve, that you're out there listening and following Joey. It's been a real pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for your time on this broadcast, for your time this morning over breakfast. And to you and Linda, I hope you have a safe drive back to the Bay Area tomorrow. Great to have you on,
It's been an honor to meet
Steve.
you.
Thank you.
And these people in Corvallis, they're very blessed to have you, Mike.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for your time. We'll be following Joey the rest of the way. And have a safe, wonderful trip back home, and hope to see you again down the road.
Thank you.
That's Steve Zabriskie joining us on the broadcast. The Knights open up an 11-3 lead. We go to the 7th, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome.
We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest-earning checking, high-yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes make good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Pope's got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
Through 6 innings at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, the Knights 11 runs, 12 hits, and 3 errors. Ridgefield 3 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors. You can make it 6 hits now as Jordan Marion slices one down the left field line. Kellen Siegel chasing the ball down in the left field corner. Marion cruises into second with a leadoff double for Ridgefield, which had crept back from down 6-1 to 6-3, but the Knights with a 5-run bottom of the 6th, leading comfortably now 11-3 with Zach Wattis coming to the plate for Ridgefield. Zach has flied to left, hit back to the box, and flied to center. 11-3 Knights, top of the 7th inning. Jack Alanita has pitched well in relief of starter Colin Novacek. Jack to the plate, and the first pitch change misses a little bit high. Ball 1. 1-0. What a true pleasure, and what a voice, huh? I didn't hear, Steve Zabriskie did most of his work in Major League Baseball and even in the college football and basketball world in the East. He did make trips out here to every Pac-10, 12 school, he said, save Oregon State for all his years. The pitch to Wattis missing for ball 2, 2-0. What a rich, deep voice, and just you can tell how good he was in his craft just by listening to him here these few innings. That it was a pleasure to have him on, and really thank him for his time and making time coming up to see Joey play ball, and he'll continue to follow the Knights. And he said if the Knights make the playoffs, who knows, we're going to maybe come back up again, the drive from the Bay Area. The 2-1 pitch swung on and fouled back. The count 2-2 to Zach Wattis. The Knights leading 11-3, beginning the night 1.5 games behind Walla Walla in the second half race. The Knights begin a 3-game series tomorrow night here against Yakima Valley, and will be at the Rourke at Ridgefield to close the regular season next week. Alanita's 2-2 pitch just outside, ball 3, 3-2 to Zach Wattis. Hunter Comine on deck. I'm hoping to be able to make at least one, if not more than that, for the Knights in Ridgefield at the Rourke next week. The 3-2 pitch on the inside corner with a change. Strike 3 called. Well executed pitch by Jack Galanita. One away in the top of the 7th inning, and Hunter Comine will be the hitter. I made an inquiry last night, kind of on the air, about Sean Gard, and got thank you, Tony Bonacci, the owner of the Ridgefield Raptors franchise, did say in response to the query that I made on air that Sean stepped down as the PA announcer at the end of last season, but is in attendance as a faithful fan. The new public address announcer for Ridgefield Raptors games is Todd Pickett, and good things about Todd, and really enjoyed Sean and just all of the trips through the 7 years the Raptors have been in the league, and look forward to getting some time up there next week when these two teams will meet to close the regular season. The pitch to Hunter Comine, fouled at the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. Josh Proctor on deck. Proctor gets about as close as you can get to the actual batter's box as an on-deck hitter. He hasn't been told to go back, but he's pretty darn close. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. I think you can see in the shot what I'm talking about, just how close he is. The pitch from Galanita swung on and missed by Comine. 1-2 the count. Hunter has flied to right, struck out, and hit back to the box. Top of the 7th inning, 11-3 Knights. Tomorrow night, Adley Rutschman bobblehead giveaway night. The first 250 fans in attendance. So get here early, don't miss out on the Adley Rutschman bobblehead night. Adley's name has come up a lot in trade talks. Sydney, if you're listening, I don't know if you are. I haven't seen Sydney Pointer at the games this week. She's constantly sending me, and I appreciate each update. But is there any news on the MLB trade deadline front with respect to Adley or anyone else? Good breaking ball on the 2-2 pitch, taken. Strike 3 called by Hunter Comine. 2 down. Jack Galanita is really dealing. He struck out Wattis with a change looking. Throws the slider here for a called third to Comine. And here comes Bo Kearns out to the mound. Josh Proctor, the batter, with the Knights leading 11-3, and Bo out for a visit with Jack Galanita. So tomorrow night, Lakeshore Lanes Adley Rutschman bobblehead giveaway night. Star Wars night here on Saturday. Sunday afternoon, Fan Appreciation Day into the early evening. A day off on Monday. And then the Knights, actually, no, I take that back. No day off this time around. Monday, August 3rd, the Knights will be at Ridgefield. Then again, Tuesday the 4th and the 5th. A day off a week from tonight before the playoffs begin. And we know Ridgefield will be in with home field advantage. They will be the #1 seed. 4 teams make it. Ridgefield will be #1 with home field. the reward for winning the first half, as they did with a stout 20-7 record. First pitch to Josh Proctor, breaking ball, fouled at the plate, 0-1 the count. Josh has doubled and scored and singled and scored. The Knights leading 11-3. Now the playoffs begin on the 7th. Best 2 out of 3 series, then 2 single game series. The strike one pitch, breaking ball inside. The Knights eliminated Ridgefield in 22-23. The last time the Knights won the West Coast League Championship in 2023, culminating 7 consecutive seasons of winning the West Coast League title. They've been out of that money in the last 2 years, Portland and then Bellingham. The 1-1 fastball to Josh Porter, inside, ball 2, 2-1. But the Knights may indeed have another postseason opportunity coming against Ridgefield. We'll see. 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3. The Knights haven't clinched anything yet, but if they're able to win this ball game, they're in pretty good shape with respect to the postseason. Breaking ball to Proctor, hit high in the air to left and playable. Max Medina moving over and under. The center fielder makes the catch. Jack Alanita continues to pitch very well. He made 2 beautiful pitches for strikeouts here in the inning to Zach Wattis and Hunter Comine. No runs, a hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th, the fans rising for the 7th inning stretch. The Knights 11 and Ridgefield 3, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest-earning checking, high-yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
Bottom of the 7th inning. The Knights leading 11-3. The attendance tonight on Go Beavs night, 1,187. 1187 in the house. Caden Thompson followed Tyler Walton. Caden gave way to Hayden Morrison as the Knights were pulling away with a 5-run inning in the 6th. Joey Morosco will lead things off. Joey looking for his first base hit. And his grandfather Steve can kind of settle in here now. Kind of following the Giants again. He was in the Bay Area when the Giants came west. He does turn 80, does Steve, in his next birthday. And so he's following the Giants somewhat, but following the Knights very closely. The 1-0 pitch coming to Joey, and that misses for ball 2. 2-0. Joey has grounded out to third, grounded to short, and flied to center. 2 balls and no strikes, bottom of the 7th, 11 runs, 12 hits for the Knights, 3 runs, 6 hits for Ridgefield. Morrison delivers, fastball chopped foul in front of the Knights dugout. The count goes to 2-1. I didn't get a chance and wanted to, but I did talk to Steve yesterday about his work in the movie The Program. He has an IMDb page as a result of playing himself as an announcer in the football movie with James Caan, The Program. Ground ball to short, fielded by J.P. Acosta, and he throws out Joey to open the 7th inning. He said, and we didn't get to this either, there's just so many things to talk about, and I wanted to. Maybe the next time we'll chat a little bit about his friendship with Keith Jackson, the late great, and how Keith went to bat for him to get one of those jobs calling college football. Keith had heard when Steve Zabriskie was working in Pittsburgh, heard Steve calling some games in the Pittsburgh area when Keith was back doing an ABC game. And when an opening occurred on the network proper, he went to bat on behalf of Steve, and Steve said he owes a lot to the great Keith Jackson. And Keith played himself in The Fortune Cookie, one of the all-time great films, Matthau and Lemon, Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon. The first pitch to Xavier Rios swung on and missed. He swings at another slider and doesn't get it. 0-2 the count. Xavier's had a good ball game. After striking out on his first bat, has doubled and scored, walked and scored. And at the plate here in the bottom of the 7th, with the Knights leading 11-3, 1 out, nobody on. Morrison's strike 2 breaking ball in the turf. 1-2 the count. Steve told me that David Ward, who wrote Major League, and a highly respected writer, director, David Ward, presented a script for the movie, The Program, and had Steve embellish, ad-lib a little bit. So Steve is credited in the film, and you hear his voice. I don't know if you see him, I can't remember, but a pretty well-made film, The Program with James Caan. The 1-2 pitch in the turf, ball 2, 2-2. And Steve's friend, the late, great Keith Jackson, in The Fortune Cookie, a young Keith Jackson. You see him in the film. They show him up in the booth. Very young Keith Jackson, not long out of, I mean, he'd gone to Washington State, was working in the Seattle area, and then had just moved to L.A. and gotten a job in the Southland. The 2-2 pitch, chased and missed. The ball gets away from Braden Watson to the backstop, and on a strikeout wild pitch, Xavier Rios down at first. That kind of night for the Ridgefield Raptors, who trail it 11-3. Kellen Siegel to the plate. The Fortune Cookie is an iconic motion picture. It's a great movie. And the chemistry, the relationship between Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon in that film is just incredible. The movie holds up. It's still worth seeing. Matthau won an Academy Award, I think, for his performance in it. It's a truly great film. The pitch on the way, another wild pitch. Getting away from Braden Watson, and down to second base goes Xavier Rios. First getting aboard on a strikeout wild pitch, and now to second on a wild pitch delivered to Kellen Siegel. 1-0 the count. I had the honor of hearing the story from Keith Jackson himself about how he got the job and what he did with the job in The Fortune Cookie in 1965. The 1-0 pitch, Siegel a chopper to third, short hopped by Braden Orm, good play, and he throws across to first for out number 2, holding at second base Xavier Rios. 2 down, Diego Cruz the batter. The Beavers were playing USC at the Coliseum in 2001. At halftime of that game, yeah, it's halftime. You got to take care of some business. I walk down the hall at the ancient Coliseum and go into the restroom, and happened to be in there at the same time with the great man himself, Keith Jackson. And on our way out, I thought, well, okay, I'm not going to have this opportunity very often in my life. The pitch on the way is another wild pitch, glancing off the shin guard of the catcher, Braden Watson, into the dugout on the first base side. That renders the ball dead. On the third wild pitch of the inning, Xavier Rios goes to third. Now, the beautiful symmetry would be for one more to get Xavier home on 4 wild pitches, a strikeout and 3 more. We'll see. The count, 1 ball and no strikes to Diego Cruz, 11-3 Knights in the bottom of the 7th. The pitch on the way. Diego taps it slowly towards the shortstop, and the throw to first is in time to get Diego. And Hayden Morrison works through the wild pitches and puts up a 0 in the bottom of the 7th inning. I asked Keith, hey, how did you come to work on the fortune cookie? And he told me the story as we were washing our hands and walking out of the Coliseum restroom back 25 years ago. I'll share the rest of it with you when we continue. We go to the 8th. It's the Knights 11 and Ridgefield 3. A new pitcher coming in for the Knights. We'll be back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. Blake Sebastian is the new pitcher for the Corvallis Knights as we go to the top of the 8th inning. The Knights leading Ridgefield 11-3. Braden Watson, J.P. Acosta, and Braden Orm, the scheduled hitters against Big Blake, 6'6", 230-pound right-hander. So the great Keith Jackson, and I couldn't help it. I love the fortune cookie. I love Keith Jackson, the movies, football, all of that coming together. So how did you get the job in the fortune cookie? Being the TV announcer, he said it happened quickly. Sebastian, the pride of Leawood, Kansas, goes to work on Watson and starts him with a strike. 11-3 Knights, top of the 8th inning. Blake back to the plate. The 0-1 fastball swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. He was working at a television station, had just moved from Seattle. I think he'd been working at Como, moved to Seattle, was working at the ABC affiliate in Los Angeles. And in the fortune cookie, there's a scene on CBS TV where Jack Lemmon gets knocked over by a Cleveland Brown player over a tarpaulin that leads to the whole scam by the lawyer Mathau to sue CBS and the NFL and all that. It's so funny how Mathau plays that role. The pitch missing down and in. Sebastian's 1-2 fastball. High heat, swung on and missed. Strike 3. Really good pitch by Blake. Coming in, filling up the zone to strike out Braden Watson. 1 away. And J.P. Acosta, who has walked, rounded into a double play and line to center. Coming to the plate, a young man returning home from Western Kentucky after beginning his collegiate career at Fresno City College and coming to play for Fresno State. So we'll see him next year in the new Pac-12. The pitch to J.P., hit foul off to the left and out of play. No balls and 1 strike. Billy Wilder, the legendary director, some guy named, I think, I.A.L. Diamond, wrote the screenplay for The Fortune Cookie. The strike 1 pitch to Acosta, a fly ball to center. Max Medina is right there to make the catch. 2 down. Braden Orm, the batter. Wilder just calls up the local. They had this scene with a broadcaster in it, and he somehow it didn't feel or sound right to Billy. So Billy calls and just, hello, sports, KTLA Sports, or whatever the affiliate, KABC Sports. Yeah, hi, anybody there know anything about football? Keith Jackson happened to be on the receiving end of the call in the newsroom, the sports room at KABC in L.A. Well, sir, well, yes, who is this? Well, this is Billy Wilder. Keith knew enough that, well, I've got a legendary director on the phone. And he said, well, can you come out here? We're shooting this scene. It's so, and can you come out here and look at our script? So Keith says, well, yeah, I'll be there soon. That's how it happened. He drives out there to the set. The 1-1 pitch fouled at the plate, and the count 1-2 to Braden Orm. 2 outs, nobody on in the 8th, 11-3 Knights. And so Keith drives out there. Billy Wilder hands him the script and says, take a look at this. Tell me what you think. And so Keith goes through, how they had the play-by-play guy talking and all of that. And Billy says, what do you think? Does it have, any problems? Keith said, yeah, you got quite a few problems there. Whoa, Nelly. The 1-2 fastball chased and missed. Strike 3. A great inning for Blake Sebastian. Retires the side in order. Well, Billy says, I'm going for my 2-martini lunch. Can you fix it? When I get back, I want you to fix it. So Keith Jackson looked at me as we're walking out of the Coliseum restroom and said, so I said, Mr. Wilder, I'll fix it. And so I fixed it. And he ended up being cast as the television voice, rewriting the whole script, which was way wrong. They didn't get the play-by-play stuff right. Keith Jackson knew a little bit about that, fixed it, and got himself in the movie, The Fortune Cookie, one of the best comedies of the 60s with the greats, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. And he said he and Matthau struck up a great friendship, and they played tennis together for the rest of their lives together in L.A. Over those many years. So that's the Keith Jackson story, playing himself. Steve Zabriskie played himself in the program. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 11-3 Knights, back in 90 on the live stream in Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest-earning checking, high-yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
Big right-hander Ryan Vorpal, the new pitcher for the Ridgefield Raptors, delivers to Max Medina the first pitch outside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch from Ryan, swung on and missed by Max Medina. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Max is grounded to short, grounded to first. Had an RBI base hit and an RBI bunt single. Scored a run, and has been playing excellent defense too. He swings and fouls it back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of the 8th, 11-3 Knights. Ryan Vorpal, big right-hander, and plays his college baseball at Eastern Oregon. Went to Gig Harbor High School and takes over for Ridgefield here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 11 runs and 12 hits for the Knights. Borpaul, 6'6", righty, delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. And Max talking to himself as he exits stage left. One away. Maverick Russell will be the hitter.
Now at the plate from UC Santa Barbara, first baseman, number 20, Maverick Russell.
Mavericks had a really good ball game. Hit by a pitch and scored a run in the first. Doubled home a run in the third. Doubled home 2 more runs in the fourth. Hit by a pitch in the sixth. Our pregame show guest may also be the Washington Park Advisors Player of the Game. There's a number of good candidates tonight, but I think Maverick Russell, the leader at the moment, takes low and inside, ball 1. 1-0. Ryan Borpaul, 6'6", righty, and he looks it, comes to the plate. Fastball just outside, ball 2. 2-0. Borpaul, 6'6", 215, out of Gig Harbor High School and pitches collegiately at Eastern Oregon. The 2-0 pitch. Russell, a ground ball to the hole and through into left field. Base hit. He has just clinched himself the distinction of being a Washington Park Advisors Player of the Game with a base hit to left. The Knights' 13th hit, Mavericks' third of the evening, and Dakota Chun will be the batter. I love the fact that on this Go Beavs night, presented by R.R. Chandler Building and Design here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, the home of the Beavers, the home of the Knights. I want to, speaking of Gig Harbor, get to a little bit of what the Beaver family is all about and how everybody kind of looks out for each other. The pitch to Dakota Chun, a strike, and the count 0-1. Last weekend, as my daughter was finishing up, she's now in Ireland. She swam in the Celtic Sea yesterday. She's there. The strike 1 pitch, fastball knee high, strike 2 to Dakota Chun. Her final stop, and she flew out of Logan International from Boston to Dublin several days ago now. But in her last weekend in the United States for a while, she was in Boston near Fenway Park. The strike 2 pitch, breaking ball taken, strike 3 called, 2 down. Ryan Severns will be the batter. 11-3 Knights here in the bottom of the 8th. I scanned, she said, Dad, do you have any ticket connections back here at all? You know, last minute, we're near Fenway, the Red Sox are playing. We got to, we get to the Fens, but the tickets were ridiculously priced, as they always are. Perpetual sellout at Fenway Park. Pitch to Severns just outside, ball 1, 1-0. So my methodology was to scan the rosters for both the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. And I came across a guy, a Red Sox coach, Parker Gwynn. The 1-0 pitch outside, ball 2, 2-0. Parker Gwynn from Gig Harbor. Okay, Scott Schultz, Oregon State, Gig Harbor High School, same time frame, probably battery mates. I call Schultzy up, an old Beaver that I call games for. He says, yeah, he was my high school catcher. I said, well, can you call him and see if he can get my daughter into the game here in about an hour? The 2-0 pitch, a strike, and the count 2-1. We're not bold or presumptuous when it comes to these sorts of things, but he called. He said, Parker Henser said, oh, I'd do it. It's just too late. We're first pitch is in about an hour. I can't. I can't do it. So the 2-1 pitch swung on and tapped foul at the plate, and the count 2-2. But Schultz, he says, I'm going to call he calls Ben Wetzler. Ben Wetzler, another former Beaver, calls Ryan Gibson, one of the Beaver current assistant coaches. Gippy calls me and says, on the Red Sox staff in their front office is a guy named Patrick McLaughlin, a special assistant to the general manager, Patrick McLaughlin, a former Oregon State team manager. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. I remembered Patrick from his days here. Didn't know that he'd risen to the Red Sox staff. I get a hold of Patrick, text him. He says, what's Lydia's email address? And within a matter of moments, Lydia had tickets emailed by Patrick McLaughlin to go see the Red Sox and Blue Jays at Fenway Park last weekend, all in the Beaver family. That, to me, is what Go Beavers Night is all about. We go to the 9th. The Knights 11 and Ridgefield 3. The Beaver family looks out for each other, and through that convoluted way, within an hour, Lydia was in Fenway Park. That, to me, is a beautiful story about Beavers taking care of one another. We go to the ninth. The Knights 3 outs away from winning the series. The Knights 11, Ridgefield 3, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. A new pitcher for the Corvallis Knights as we go to the ninth. Levi Hodges making his Knights debut. A chopper up along third. Tough play. The throw to first is in time from Ryan Severns. One pitch, one out. I mean, a very tough play. Really well done by Ryan Severns to get Reagan McCluskey to open the top of the ninth inning. Levi Hodges making his Knights debut. And got a lot of help right there from Ryan Severns to make his first pitch as a Knight a good one for an out. Reed Farrell, the batter. The pitch on the way. Reed, first ball swinging, a high pop foul down the third base side. Severns moving over and back, and he makes the catch on that. Really good defense by Ryan Severns here in the top of the ninth inning, catching that pop foul, and that wasn't easily done. He had a lot of things to negotiate down there. 2 down, Jordan Marion, the batter. The Knights are an out away from winning the series and keeping their playoff run alive. 11 runs, 13 hits, and 3 errors for the Knights. 3 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for Ridgefield. 2 down, nobody on. Jordan Marion, the batter. The pitch on the way to Jordan misses down and in. Ball 1, 1-0. Jordan has struck out, had a sacrifice fly, and doubled to left field. Levi Hodges working quickly and hits Jordan Marion. A 2-out hit batsman for Levi in his Corvallis Knights debut. I'm going to need to bone up a little bit more on Levi Hodges, but it is good to have some reinforcements coming for the stretch drive for the Knights with the postseason play coming. My silly phone is not letting me, it just keeps demanding of me things that doesn't allow me to turn on the flashlight, and at this late hour, let me see if I can get to some Levi Hodges information. The first pitch swung on and missed by Zach Wattis. Been fun to watch Zach in this series, a good-looking ball player to be sure. Wattis tonight has flied to left, hit back to the box, flied to center, and struck out. Hodges falls down after delivering the strike one pitch. He misses with it, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Levi, a late addition for the late push for the Knights into postseason. Levi works from the stretch. The runner at first not being held on. That's Jordan Marion. The 1-1 pitch to Wattis misses low and in. Taft College for Levi Hodges. He's a right-hander from Sitka, Alaska. So we look forward to learning a little bit more about Levi and glad to have him with the Knights. He delivers a strike to even the count at 2-2 to Zach Wattis. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Jordan Marion at first base not being held on by Maverick Russell. Levi trying to end it right here with the fans, 1,187, many of them still here, cheering Levi and the Knights on. Levi bounces his 2-2 pitch, and the count goes full to Zach. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Remember, tomorrow night, get here early if you want to be part of the Adley-Rutschman Dole, the first 250 fans getting Adley-Rutschman bobbleheads. 6:20 airtime tomorrow night with Yakima Valley in town. The 3-2 slider taken, strike 3 called, and the ball game is over. The Knights win the rubber game of this 3-game series. The Knights 11 runs, 13 hits, and 3 errors. Ridgefield 3 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. Jack Galanita, the winning pitcher. The Knights using a strong performance on the mound from Colin Novacek, Jack Galanita, Blake Sebastian, and Levi Hodges. And some strong offense as well, led by our Washington Park Advisors player of the game, Maverick Russell, driving in 3, scoring 2, getting 3 base hits, getting hit by pitches twice, surviving getting hit by a pitch on the top of his helmet. Tough night, good. I mean, toughness shown by Maverick Russell. Maverick was our pregame show guest earlier, too, and was a delightful guest to have. Hope you can go back and hear that conversation. Speaking of conversations, it was a very enjoyable night for yours truly. I hope you enjoyed some of the ruminations of Steve Zabriskie. Justin Joyner joined me earlier, the new men's basketball coach at Oregon State. It was a lot of fun to be here tonight, and hope that you will be part of it tomorrow night when the Corvallis Knights host the Yakima Valley Pippins in the final 3-game series of the regular season, with some postseason baseball still to come for the Knights, we well believe. But they still have business to take care of. They hope to begin that quest to earn a postseason berth in tomorrow night's Game 1 against Yakima Valley. For Steve Zabriskie, for Dale Hummel, for Justin Joyner, for Everett Barty, and Brian Thomas, this is Mike Parker thanking you for joining us tonight from Goss Stadium at Coleman Field on Go Bees Night, presented by R.R. Chandler Construction and Design. Remember, tomorrow it's Lakeshore Lane's Adley-Rutschman bobblehead night. We'll see you at 6:20. For all of the above, this is Mike Parker thanking you for joining us again. Our final score, the Knights 11 and Ridgefield 3. We'll see you tomorrow night right back here on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. So long, everybody.